Hello. Hi. Wait, why can't I? Oh, because this is turned down. Okay. I need to find that one Umineko track while we read over everything. Where's the, Umineko episode 4? Maybe there's an episode 4 recap. There is! Awesome. This is gonna be ridiculously long, though. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Looking for Umineko OST. There's like one. No, not that one. What in particular I'm looking for? Whatever, I'll just loop this. I don't give a fuck, actually. I gaff a little. Hi guys. Nicole, hi 80, hi Sharky, hello. So this is gonna be a shorter stream. I have to, I got a jet around like maybe 6 o'clock. And then, I got some plans afterwards, so I'm not sure how far we'll get. But let's start by reading, like, the recap together. Why don't I just, like, put a picture of Beatrice as, like, the background image while I read this, and it'll be, like, a shocking retelling. Okay, there's not too much to read, which is good. Let me see. There's, 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. Wonderful. Okay, let's see if any of these are like the mystery OST I like. No, that's scary. Oh, this works. This one fucking scares the shit out of me. This one is so creepy. But no, I don't want it to be fucking ominous and creepy. This one? Oh, this one's also awful. God, Umineko has such a good soundtrack. I know it's because everyone says it's like a, what do you call it? Everyone calls it a sound novel, or rather it is because it's a sound novel, but damn! Oh, this one! This one is the scariest. It's that fucking droning sound accompanied by like, yeah, the fucking haunting piano notes. This one's great. Is it this one? No. This one? I can't find it. What the? Okay, fine. Let's listen to the creepy ass one. Fuck at this song, bro. This song scares the shit out of me. Solve my epitaph. Solve it. Alright, let's bring this on screen. just make this like a... Just make it this? Yeah. Just this fucking image. That's it. That's the stream, by the way. I'm gonna read through the summary and that's it. With this fucking image of Beatrice on stream and that's it. Alright. Umineko When They Cry, episode 4. I'm on the recap page of TV tropes. I can't speak to how accurate it is, but it's just nice to know like what exactly happened. Or as a reminder of everything that happened. Alright. Prologue. Wait, who the fuck is... Oh god, I don't even remember who half this cast is. Oh wait, you can't hear the music, I just realized. Hello. No, fuck this. You know what? Never mind. This bit. This is a bad bit. We'll just go here and talk about it. Oh wow, I'm so unprepared. The amount of times I've forgotten to set something up because it's a YouTube stream. Lol. There we go. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Okay. Who's Asumu? I don't remember who Asumu is. Hold on, I gotta look this up. Oh, okay. Asumu was the wife for Rudolph's first wife. Okay, that's what it was. All right, now, okay, now we'll start. Sorry. Prologue. In 1986, Battler and others discuss Asumu and bump into Angie Beatrice from the future in Bernkastel, but he doesn't know who she is and why she's here. Meta Battler and Renault prank Beatrice by making it like he's too broken. Angie Beatrice, naming herself Gretel, arrives at the tea room and calls Meta Battler out for treating Beatrice as a frenemy or friendly enemy. Back in 1998 at St. Lucia Academy, after Ava can't abuse her for not being George, Angie's now getting bullied. Angie uses Maria's diary and imagines talking to her about Maria getting a Sakutaro plush on her birthday. Angie discusses the events at Rokenjima with Ava's confidant, Okonogi, then runs away from Kirie's family and gets rescued by Amakusa, Ava's former guard. Angie and Bernkastel talk about how truth is relative. Angie Beatrice and Maria debate on Rosa's treatment of regular Maria. Okay, hold on. Okay, Angie Beatrice is like the witch version of Angie, hence Angie Beatrice. And then there's Maria in all caps, and then just regular Maria. So to differentiate that, whenever it pops up, I'll say Maria Trees, or Maria Turic, or something like that. Angie Beatrice and Maria Beatrice debate on Rosa's treatment of regular old Maria with pessimism and optimism respectively. Beatrice appears in pre-1986 and gives Sakutaro a human form. Professor Otsuki tells Angie that surviving books from Rokenjima and two contradictory confessions are deeply analyzed by enthusiasts globally, and Angie assumes the fame was the culprit's goal if they're not Ava. Angie learns to summon the 7 stakes. Lambda Delta tells Angie Beatrice that due to temporal paradox, even if Angie Beatrice saves Battler, she won't see him again, so she should keep Battler trapped. Oh yeah, the whole bit with that was that Lambda Delta pulls Angie Beatrice to the side, but because Angie Beatrice lives in a timeline or world or fragment in which her Battler is dead, she's never gonna see him again no matter what. And so she sort of uses that as a way to, I guess, in an attempt to bribe Angie Beatrice to like keep the game going forever so she can stay by Battler's side forever. Anyways, continuing on. Angie's grades take a nosedive, and due to further increased bullying, she orders the stakes to kill everyone. but despairs since they're not real and rejects Sakataro and Maria. Oh, this was a huge, huge turning point. So one by one, she rejects all the stakes, and they sort of like cease to exist, essentially. They'll encourage her to like kill them first, or like kill one of them first, and then they can like manifest, but it doesn't work. And then afterwards, Sakutaro, Sakurato, that is not his name, it's Sakutaro, 100% it's Sakutaro, I think that's a typo on this page, and rejects Sakutaro and Maria. Sakutaro, like, what do you call it? Unmanifests, I suppose, or gets turned back into a doll because she stopped believing. And then Maria gets like fucking mad at her, and then they never talk again. In pre-1986, Maria is disappointed by Angie's actions. While shopping, Maria loses her house keys and gets taken by the police, who find out Rosa has been on a vacation. Oh right, this is when, or rather, this is a prelude to the Giga crash out that, of course a bit loud, prelude to the Giga crash out that Maria has, and she kills Rosa repeatedly, which was fucking insane. But yeah, we learned that she is certainly not mother of the year material. Quite the opposite, really. Anyways, they find out Rosa's been on vacation, and Rosa comes back and breaks Maria's toys. Beatrice remarks that Sakataro had been killed off for real, and teaches Maria to seek revenge. After talking with Momon, Angie realizes she shouldn't have been forcibly objective with Maria, and revives Sakataro. And then finally, after that whole bit, we go back to the first day. Returning to the game, this time Kinzo is the one to give Maria the umbrella, and attends the meeting in person. The kids stay outside, and Kinzo declares all his children failures, though he's optimistic about the grandchildren. Kinzo then summons the Chiester sisters, and at random kills Natsuhi, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, Genji, Eva, and Rosa. Kinzo also summons Renove, Virgilia, and a new demon, Gop, who traps Kraus, Kirie, Nanjo, Shannon, Cannon in a black hole, which they assume or chalk up to being trapdoors, if I recall correctly. And then Gop meets Meta-Battler and Angie Beatrice. Note that regardless of what the scene looked like, they can only trust the aftermath. Rosa wakes up in the empty tea party room and is greeted by Sakataro. Maria, Beatrice, and Beatrice give Rosa a cold-blooded torture, and it was fucking crazy and awful. And we saw this really sad CG of Maria like screaming and crying, and anyways, Rosa deserved that. It was well deserved. Lol. The surviving adults wake up in jail cells. They find a telephone connected to the guest house and ask the kids to barricade it. Kinzo and demons come and confirm the dungeon is in the Forest Mansion and that the kids are on trial. In 1998, again, we're jumping back to Angie's world, a regular old Angie. Angie questions the servants' relatives who've received a return mail containing 07151129, of which one of these dates I recall was either November or the July one. One of them was Battler's birthday. And it also showed up in episode 2 or 3 as writing on the wall in blood, but I don't know the significance of it. Not yet, at least. Oh yeah, and they go to the bank and they confirm there's a shit ton of money for each of those mail thingies. Angie recalls receiving the same, but she hasn't checked it. Angie finds a photo of the chapel's engraving saying quadrillion to 1. Quadrillion to 1? Angie and Amakusa hire Kawabata to ride the boat and see something in a display case, and Sakataro tears up. Jessica and George get invited. We're back to the game. Jessica and George get invited. Renove confirms he and Genji are linked. Jessica and George are asked to choose the next one to die out of select options. The adults see everything through the magic mirror, or a magic mirror. Kinzo hints there's no right answer and is instead interested in their conviction. Jessica picks herself for Cannon's sake, then attacks Renove once he gets close. George picks the family for Shannon's sake, but attacks Gop. The kids beat the shit out of the demons and it was fucking cool and they were aura farming, and then Shannon and Cannon break the cells and there's this whole cool scene where like there's a bunch of hope and whatnot. But when the kids are about to do a final strike, Gop teleports them and Jessica and George end up killing each other, and then the Chester sisters execute the rest of the escapees. During that time, Jessica's spirit and Kirie managed to make a last-minute call to Battler and ask him to not doubt magic. Oh yeah, Renove does Jessica a solid and like lets her live for like another 5 minutes or something like that. And then she chooses to call Battler with the last of her time. Maria is invited next, and then Battler. Battler checks on Goda and Kumasawa before confronting Beatrice, but finds that they've hanged themselves. And then midnight. Oh my fucking god! Shut the fuck up. Sorry, those notifications are pissing me off. Like, I'm pretty sure I have system sounds. Oh, I don't have system sounds off. I do now. Let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, Goda and Kumasawa. Right, I remember now. Goda and Kumasawa were like super scared, so they ended up locking themselves in the gardening shed, if I recall correctly. But then when Battler goes there, I don't know, they didn't hang themselves. It was made to look like that, but like, I think their tongues were ripped out and like their faces were gashed and stuff. But there was no way for them to like get killed because, what do you call it? They had the key to the door. They had the key to the door and it only opens from the inside, I believe. I'm not sure. Can't really remember too well. Anyways, the second day, Battler sees Beatrice in person and is made to do the same written test. Beatrice scolds Battler for leaving the Ushino family for 6 years. Battler goes over his history, but Beatrice, in all seriousness, tells Battler that there's a great sin he's forgetting, but he gives up as he doesn't have a clue. Upset, Beatrice kills Kinzo and Gop and just throws the victory to Meta Battler, and everyone in the meta world is angry. Beatrice tires to invalidate Meta Battler as an opponent so she wouldn't play, which would make him killed off for real. Oh, right! Right, I remember now. This whole bit was, she got bored of the game because he didn't remember his sin, he had forgotten it. At least that's what I was getting from that scene. And then she tires the game, she's like, I don't give a fuck about you no more, and then she invalidates his existence, or tries to. It says here, Beatrice introduces the blue text, or the blue truth I should be saying, and it is a statement that enforces either red or silence from the opponent. When Meta Battler tries to say in red that he's Asumu's son, he starts choking and then disintegrates, and then Beatrice leaves with Maria to another world. And then we go back to regular old Angie. Angie arrives at Rokanjima, and while she tries to summon Maria, Kasumi and her agents find her and beat the shit out of her. Angie admits that she was unreasonable to Eva, which lets Eva Beatrice separate and manifest, encouraging Kasumi's violence. Kasumi makes a mockery of Maria's grimoire and slowly destroys it. And then we find out that the reason why Maria goes is because it's a magic spell that makes whoever hears it, I believe. No, it makes her mama become like her best friend again. And that's why she always does that. And the whole reveal with the grimoire was that it was a way for Maria to escape her world of abuse and find a world of love despite everything that was happening to her. And it was fucking so crazy. That was such an insane reveal. Heartbreaking for sure. Goodness. Anyways, Angie summons the seven stakes who kill the agents to Eva Beatrice in Kasumi's disbelief before killing her too. Eva Beatrice uses Ava's apparition against Angie, but fails. Bernkastel congratulates Angie Beatrice on her promotion. Angie Beatrice comes to the Golden Land and validates Beatrice's and Maria's false utopia by revolving Sakataro. Lambda Delta and Bernkastel bring Meta Battler back because he's implied to still be an Ushinomiya. Angie Beatrice reveals she's Angie and suddenly dies to blood loss, and the Meta Battler is determined to win even if it takes forever. Oh yeah, what happens is the deal for her to be in the meta world was that she couldn't reveal who she was, but in an effort to motivate Battler again, she says who she is, and then says a bunch of stuff in red, and it's this really like heartbreaking scene. And then bit by bit, what Beatrice says is that she's being torn apart and reduced to like meat, essentially, and it's a really, really violent description. Okay, so this one is the tea party. Back in the game, Battler walks around the empty mansion and goes over every murder scene. Maria's corpse is found with signs of poisoning. He fails to find Kanan's corpse, or rather, he fails to find Kanan's corpse and fails to also open the underground tunnel, so Beatrice confirms his death in red instead. In blue, Battler speculates that Kinzo was dead all along in each game, resolving the no 19th human problem, which hurts Beatrice. He goes through each case and finds that Beatrice can't say witness accounts are reliable. After almost giving up, Beatrice says in red that the 18th human doesn't exist either, but Battler brings his recent lecturing theories to previous cases, including if victims were fed small bombs, and finds that red statements are valid only to the time they are mentioned. And then, Beatrice says in red that the culprit for episode 4 is about to kill him. When she asks to reveal the culprit's name, the credits roll. Bernkastel and Lambda Delta discuss the cases between themselves, and then confirm with the red that Kanan didn't die by accident, Natsuhi didn't die to a trap, the Chapel murder involved no traps, nobody was impersonating Kanan in episode 2. They also say that Beatrice has more secrets in her sleeve that is already due. And I think there was this whole thing where they say that, or rather, I think it's implied that Beatrice wants to escape this whole thing. And I think it's implied that she's probably I say probably with like great effect. I have no idea if this is right or not, obviously. But it's probably implied that she's probably the plaything of Bernkastel and Lambda Delta, just on account of the fact of how much they make fun of her when she's not around. And anyways, that is a summary. Obviously it goes over a whole bunch of stuff, or we miss a whole bunch of stuff, but yeah. Let's see here. Okay, where is my little sticky notepad? Alright, here are my notes. 6 years ago, no person called Beatrice existed for Battler, and because of his sin, people die. And it is not between Ushinomiya Battler and Beatrice. I questioned... Oh wait, no, I have a whole list of bullet points here. Let's see. Who or what is Beatrice? Is she really a witch, or is she a resident of the island like everyone else? Why did Kinzo make the epitaph in the first place? That's a big question. Why is Beatrice playing this game with Battler? And this was one of the big ones. I have it bolded and italicized too. If Kinzo's dead at the start of each game, with whom are the servants and family members speaking to in some of these scenes then? Is it like symbolic? What does it mean? Like, what's the significance of like Kraus lying in most of these episodes too? Like, every single time, I think it was in episodes 1 to 3, he says like, "Oh yeah, he's fine, he's fine. I'll go fetch father, see if I can go fetch father." But it's revealed that he's dead in every, or at the start of every single game, including episode 4's game, which is really confusing because it's like, huh, who's keen to win episode 4 then? Who is this guy who's tweaking and vaguely oral harming? And then, of course, oh, this was also obviously a very important segment. But Angie's whole arc, or her story bits, obviously showcase, you know, how magic is intended to work, and it is to be with love. After all, per Beatrice's words, it is the singular element of the world they live in. Okay, so what else do I have down here? Oh, I have jotted down here that Battler is the object of affection of Beatrice, and that Beatrice is being portrayed by someone on this island. I jotted down possibly Shannon, but that doesn't mean Beatrice isn't real or wasn't real at the time at the very least. But I wrote down that I also have no theory as to why these games are being played out. I also put down that the sin definitely has to do with Shannon and Battler at the very least, because the only time he ever talks about his past, specifically 6 years ago, is when he was talking about like when he was a kid and when he was you know, pronouncing his love and crush to Shannon, not to Shannon, but about Shannon. He sort of mutters it to himself. That is literally the only time the past of 6 years ago is brought up. So it has to be between those two, I think. I also jotted down here that magic can only become real when 1, the user believes in it, and 2, the user has love. And obviously this is a gimme and a give-in rather. Maria has to be tied closely to all the events since she always nearly dies last, if at all. Plus her very close relationship with Beatrice. Oh, this one was a good one that I jotted down, but I jotted down that Kumasawa and Genji are / could be stand-ins for Virgilia and Renault respectively, but that's about it. And also, this isn't really important, but I thought it was fun. The grimoire in tips of episode 4 that says like one of the most ancient grimoires is probably in reference to the Bible. I just added that down for fun. Anyways, oh shoot, I'm sorry, I hit my microphone. Sorry. There is episode 4, the recap of episode 4, I should say. Let me see here. Let's start. Where is it? Where's Umineko, man? I'm so fucking excited. I'm genuinely so... Not Uma Musume. Actually, you know what? Who has the most hours in Uma Musume amongst my friends list right now? I have a solid 50, well, close to 50 hour. I have 47.6 hours in Uma Musume. Why does my friend have 432 hours in this game? Why do you have 432 hours in Horse Game? Oh my fucking god. What? What? I mean, it's good. I don't know if it's 432 hours good. Hey, whatever floats your boat, man. Whatever floats your boat. Alright, turn that shit on. And it is time for Umi fucking Neko, baby. And of course, let me go shrink myself. I do not want to be in the way of all the text that is gonna come up. Umineko no Naku Koro ni Chiru. Nocturne of Truth and Illusions. Another 4 episodes to go through. And by the way, it took me... So I started, what, around January, I want to say? Either January or December of last year. So it has taken me a total of 9 months to beat the first arc. Well, not... Okay, no. 8 months? Because I took a break. Took a total of 8 months of playing this game consistently, at least once, twice a week. Just for the first arc. And given I'm voice acting everything too, but Jesus, dude. People are not kidding when they say this game is super lengthy. Alright. Episode 5. End of the Golden Witch. Good morning. Please enjoy this new game by a new game master at your leisure. However, the game has already reached a climax. The culprit's been cornered, and there's nothing left to do but await the final checkmate. But for that very reason, there must be something for you to spot looking down on it from afar. The difficulty is fairly easy. What could possibly deceive you after all this time? I don't know a lot of things. I'm stupid. LOL! The story is very obviously fictional and fantastic in nature. Any resemblance to existing individuals, organizations, locations, or incidents is entirely coincidental. Oh! It scared me. What's all this? Whistle Shen. Everyone's alive? Oh, Kinzo! Kinzo! Ah! And we can go here too. Whoa! This one's new. The man designated to be Beto's opponent in the first 4 games. In the 5th game, he's displeased that Lambda Delta's the new game master? What? He's displeased that Lambda Delta is taken over as GM, so he doesn't participate as a player. In the place of Beato, who stepped down from the position of game master in the 4th game, Lambda Delta serves as the new GM in the 5th game. Therefore, it is expected that while the 5th game may be quite similar to the previous ones, there will be differences. She hates boredom as much as Bronca style, and depending on the situation, she may become either an enemy or an ally to Beto or Burn. The Witch of Miracles, also known as the witch who knows that miracles don't occur. In the 5th game, she participates as a player in opposition to Beto. However, from the very beginning, her aim has been to deny the illusion of the witch. Her only goal is to crush Beto and her world as a way to stave off boredom. If she does deny the illusion of the witch, she's no ally of battlers. The Golden Witch and the Endless Witch, Beatrice. Beto's piece who speaks on behalf of the illusion of the witch. Beto's piece who speaks on behalf of the illusion of the witch? She claims that all of the crimes in Rokenjima were caused by the illusion of the witch. In the 5th game, she clashes with Berncastello, who denies this illusion. Because she herself is nothing more than a piece, and the higher plane version of her has stepped down as Game Master, she's no longer in a position where she can know the truth of the 5th game. This puts her in a different position than the one she held in games before now. Virgilia, a now retired Endless Witch and Beatrice's teacher. She used the Endless Magic properly and devoted her life to the smiles and happiness of others. She taught Beatrice the Endless Magic, believing that she would also devote herself to the people and then retired. Though she was Beatrice's teacher, she was also a magician employed by Beatrice's family. For that reason, she interacted with Beatrice in a manner fitting for a servant. Some point to this as the source of Beatrice's arrogance and recklessness. Renault, one of the 72 Great Demons, works for a master in exchange for various forms of compensation. Currently has a contract with Beatrice as her butler. He's become proficient at housekeeping after serving in many households, so his ability as a butler is quite high. In the high society of witches, employing him has become a kind of status symbol. Furthermore, the cookies he bakes are superb. She wants that fucking cookies so bad, and witches will often form a line demanding them. He must possess tremendous magic power, but since he always stays out of the spotlight to further boost his master's reputation, his combat capabilities are unknown. And then the demon with the fucking crazy-ass outfit. One of the 72 great demons and also Beatrice's friend, when a magician demands it, she grants the ability of instantaneous movement. She uses this power for playing pranks. Her specialty is hiding keys in bags during busy mornings. However, in the context of closer mysteries, his power becomes an ultimate weapon that can easily strike a finishing blow. The queen bee strikes are likely to pierce any and all detectives, forcing them to surrender. Okay, let me see here. Oh yeah, I need to fix everything again. I really like that. I'm gonna miss. I am really gonna miss. What do you call it? I am gonna miss the Kinta voice line for this one. We'll do like we'll do this. Ah, my eyes. Wait, what happened to the I know this is how it is originally.
But where's the one where it's like you know, the text box, you know?
Oh, she's tweaking. You idiot, isn't it obvious? It'll be fun to kill her and see your face twist in pain. Why else? Yeah! And she goes along. I love her Seiyu so much. Sorry, I'm still eating a cough drop, or sucking on a cough drop. I will put it down for now. Look, don't turn your eyes away, look at it. Look, it's magic, it's furniture. No matter how much you try to deny me in magic. Look. No! She's so funny. Sorry, battler, it was pretty fun. Sure, I just did what teacher told me, but look how great it turned out. I think this is in reference to episode 3. Apparently, if you start out all hostile and needlessly brutal, then turn incompetent and soft at just the right moment, you can spark a huge bump on your affection meter, right? And it worked! It fucking worked! I'm so mad about that still! That lonely tone was the desolate sound of the wind blowing by. The glittering rose petals on these bushes were all golden. The cloud of gold butterflies that had once danced through this golden rose garden like fluttering rose petals was no longer anywhere to be seen. The master of the Golden Land is the Golden Witch. Excuse me. The master of the Golden Lands is the Golden Witch, Beatrice. She might be called inhumane and cruel, arrogant and outrageous, or perhaps naive and simple. That laugh of hers. Oh, oops. Shit, I hit the button too early. That laugh of hers, which lost its grace more and more the longer it continued, could no longer be heard. The golden witch Beatrice sat like a doll, resting in a deck chair adorned as beautifully as the rose garden itself. She wasn't relaxing there. Her eyes were empty. She didn't respond to any questions. Even so, she was not permitted to sleep. She sat like a doll. Her hair was down, and Virgilia was carefully tending to it with a comb. The usual Beto would surely have spent this time complaining about this and that regarding her hairstyle. Yet she made no response and showed no reaction. So it really only looked like Virgilia was combing the golden hair of a doll. There was a table alongside them. On it sat a chessboard with a jumble of black and white pieces locked in a closely fought battle. However, the setup looked somehow different from normal chess. Maybe the game was similar, though not identical. And on the other side, sitting back in his chair as he contemplated his next move, was a young man. No. Perhaps it wasn't his next move he contemplated. Every once in a while he would change the positions of the pieces, reconsidering the situation after every change. Maybe he was reconstructing previous games, trying to discover the thought process behind the moves that had been made. In the past, Kinzo, the Ushinomiya family head, once said that learning chessboard arrangements was like taking a journey through the thoughts of the old masters. Ushinomiya Battler was on a journey. A search for the thought process that had led the Golden Witch to create this arrangement and make these moves. Battler took a black piece that should have been moved forward and returned it to its original place, sighing deeply. Battler's pieces were white. However, on this chessboard, the black encampment was on Battler's side. He was reconstructing that arrangement, trying to play Beto's role. The more I do this, the less I understand your moves. Even Battler didn't expect that Beto would respond to that statement. Or rather, he was pretending to talk to himself, thinking there might still be some chance of her responding. She just... Oh! Girl, what the fuck happened? What the hell? Beto's eyes reflected nothing. And her mouth told nothing. She really is just a doll. Oh, she frowned! After begging him to kill her, the Golden Witch had become a corpse that had given up on life. She wasn't sleeping. She couldn't step down from this game and was therefore forbidden sleep. So those words must have reached her ears. However, they probably hadn't reached her heart. The Golden Witch wouldn't sneer at battlers' moves, nor would she praise them or belittle them. By now, she was nothing more than a living doll. Even so, she would glance at him every once in a while. It would be an empty glance, but a glance nonetheless. Sometimes she would seem to make some sort of gesture, or even move her lips. However, her movements never managed to communicate anything to Battler. How'd you decide on this move in this situation? I don't get it at all. I don't understand your moves. ...
ベアとバトラ君が話しかけていますよ。
Oh, this is so sad! This is so sad. Oh my god. Beto, Battler-kun's talking to you. Just an eyebrow twitch. Say something. Giggle or guffaw or something. You can use that shrill laugh of yours if you want. Can you believe it? That shrill laugh of Beto's will never be heard again. However, even if she couldn't answer, his voice surely reached her. That's what Battler believed as he said these words. So he said it again. How'd you decide on this move in this situation? I don't get it at all. I don't understand your moves. He has been through... Battler has been through so much. First he gets tortured, then he gets like fooled by her what is it, North Wind? Or no, was it East Wind, Northern Sun trick? Then he hates her. And then he's like all buddy-buddy with her again, and then hates her again. And now he feels bad for her again. Oh, I thought she was speaking for a second. So you don't understand what this child is thinking? Virgilia answered in her disciple's stead. Up to this point, she'd done her best to avoid speaking for her. After all, there was a chance that Beto would respond in some way, and Virgilia didn't want to be the one to steal that chance. The Battler was going to have to bear with this silence until she herself answered. Virgilia could no longer bear to watch Battler like this. Besides, he also wanted to hear what she had to say. He believed that conversation would reach Beto's heart. Yep. I don't have a clue. The more I try standing in her shoes and moving the pieces like this, the less I understand. A serial murder following an epitaph. With that as a victory condition, I tried reconstructing the games from the witch's side. But I never ended up making the moves Beto did. In those games, I could find several incomprehensible moves that clearly worked against that victory condition. I don't get it at all. This journey through her thoughts is just too rugged. Even so, you won't give up, will you? I won't. I promised. Kill me. Let me die. I promised to let her die peacefully. And I'm the only one who can do it. Beto's right ankle was bound with a heavy cold steel shackle. It wasn't tied to anything, so it didn't restrict her movement. But it symbolized restriction, a visualization of the bonds that prevented her from leaving the game till she either won or lost. And the shackle was probably hurting her. The mercilessly cold shackle tormented her over and over inside her waking dream. Oh! She's stirring! Oh no, never mind. She's not stirring. She's just in pain. My bad. And so there was never any sign of relief in her empty expression. Her eyelids would sometimes tremble, like she was having a nightmare, and every once in a while, she'd let out a pained gasp. Unless I win, Beto will never be released from the curse that prevents her from sleeping peacefully.
良いのですか?
Are you sure you want to be doing this?
第5のゲームはもう
It seems the fifth game has already started.
興味ね。
Not interested. Oh, Battler. Why should I take part in any game unless Beto's my opponent? If that's the only alternative, then it's much better use of my time to reconstruct previous games while taking a journey in search of Beto's thought process. So are they just playing the fifth game like on their own, or what?
次のゲームマスターは私がやるわ。
Boo! I'll be the next game master. Any objections?
ないわよね。
You've got none, right?
依存だらけよ。
I've got nothing but
ベアトは
objections.
戦いを放棄して
Beto conceded the fight and is unconscious.
ベアトの不先輩でゲームオーバーでしょ。
Isn't this a loss by default and game over for her?
確かにベアとはいろいろとあって
I'll admit a lot's happened to Beto, and she's basically been KO'd for now.
でも戦う気力を失
But
ったわけじゃない
that doesn't mean she's lost the will to fight.
だからつまり私は介助役って
That's why I'm acting as her assistant.
わかる？
Get it? Beto was lying down on a deck chair, almost as though she was sleeping. Yet she wasn't. But she wasn't awake either. She was simply a doll that had given up on victory, who asked Battler to perform her last rites, and who had surrendered everything. Of course, if everyone just sat around the next game, the fifth one would never be ready. So Lambda Delta had succeeded Beto as the next GM and announced that she'd prepare the next game.
ふざけるな。
Quit messing
俺
around.
は俺とベアとの
It's a game between me and Beto.
お前ら。
I don't know who you two are, but I'm not gonna let you carry on without us.
あんたに意見は求めてないわ。
Bleh, no one asked for your opinion, bitch.
どうすんのベル？
What'll you do, Bird?
受けるの？
Accept my challenge or not?
いいわ。あん
Sure.
たが引き継ぎなさい。
Go ahead and inherit her role.
なんだと。ふざける
Hell? Quit messing around!
な。お前ら何者か知らねえが。
I don't know who you people are, but I'm not gonna let you ignore her and me and just carry on by yourselves.
落ち着きなさいよ。
Take it easy. Okay, sure. A new player means you'll face new kinds of moves.
あんたにとっては戸惑
I'm
う
sure you'll see a lot of stuff that confuses you, but even that might lead to some big hints, get it?
知らねえよ。
Who cares?
勝手なこと言って仕切ってんじゃねえ。
But saying whatever you want and deciding everything on your own!
ベアとのゲームを4つも繰り返して何もわからないんでしょ。
She has a point. Beto's game has repeated 4 times and you still don't understand anything, right?
なら
In that case, I expect that swapping out opponents might lead to some huge hints.
大きなお世話だ。
That's none of your business!
これはベアとが
It's
用意し
our game!
俺を対戦相手に
Beto
指定した。
prepared it, and she designated me to be her opponent!
どこから湧いてきたのか
I don't know what
知らない
hole you two crept out of, but I don't want you screwing things up!
ならベアとを起こして次の準備
Oh,
をさせ
fuck off. In that case, wake her up and make her get the next game ready.
できる
Can you?
ベアとはしばらく起きねえよ。
Beto won't be getting up for a while.
それに新しいゲーム
Anyway, we don't even need to have another game.
あいつがこれまでに出題してきた
The 4 games she's already laid out are more than enough.
仮に第5のゲ
And
ーム
even
が
if we do have some 5th one, there's no reason it shouldn't just be a puzzle Beto lays out and I take on.
お前らには何の関
There's
係もない
absolutely no reason for you two to butt in. Battler couldn't hide his irritation at the two witches called Lambda Delta and Bernkastel, who'd shown up well after the game's start and who were now trying to take charge on their own. It looked like they were witches of an even higher rank than Beto. So high, in fact, that even Beto's teacher, Virgilia, couldn't even come close. Battler had the feeling he'd seen these two several times before. However, this was their first time he'd known their names and spoken to them directly. You can't get the next game ready without waking Beto. That's why I'll prepare the next one. We're not so patient that we're willing to wait forever for Beto to regain consciousness. You have forever, come on now. Right, Bern?
退屈はごめんなの
I don't like
イライラ
boredom.
するほどに
It ticks me off.
お前が退屈がろうが
You really don't give a damn whether you're bored or not. Come on now. Excuse me. Leave everything to the perfect Lambda Delta Sama, okay? I'll take over as the GM. Don't worry. I won't play with too much absolute perfection. Just like Beto, I'll set up plenty of incomprehensible fakes, clues, and bonus hints. I'll make this game a huge hint that'll help you understand Beto's world even better, okay? LOL! Letting my voiceless emotions explode, I slammed the table hard. The two didn't flinch. One grinned. The other looked indifferent as though nothing had happened. The two of them just stared at me. The fucking Gen Z stare is crazy. The two of them just stared at me silently as though they were reproaching me. What's this? Not satisfied? Are you saying you're gonna step down from the 5th game? Isn't that a loss by default?
バトラは降りないわよ
Battler
も
won't
ちろん
step
第5
down.
のゲームにも参加
Of course
す
he'll
るの
participate in the 5th game.
勝手に決めるんじゃね
Don't just decide that yourself!
えお前らに俺は付き合
I'm
わ
not gonna play along with you two!
知ったことじゃない
I don't give a shit! Then it really is a loss by default, right? Which side wins this game? Is it really okay to end this with the humans surrendering?
降りるなら不先輩でゲーム終了だけどいいの
If you step down, the game will end with your loss by default, get
たっ
it?
た一人残された妹が
If you want to guarantee that your lonely sister always meets with miserable circumstances in an endless number of
無限の
worlds,
世界のすべて
that option is indeed open
不
to
幸
you.
な境遇を確定させたいのならそれも選択
Angie. When Bernkastel mentioned Angie, Battler's expression changed instantly. You bastard.
エンジェのことを気安く口に
Don't you dare talk about Angie so lightly.
あなたにこの私奇跡の魔女
Because you have an ally in me,
メランコリーが
Bernkastel, the Witch of
エンジェ
Miracles.
にはひょっとしたら
There exists the possibility of a miracle in which Angie's family comes home to her.
あなたが自らそれを
Wow.
捨てて
If you do throw that chance away and guarantee that Angie's endless futures all end in sorrow, that'd be pretty interesting too. I vaguely understood what she was saying. Until I win in Beto's game, I'll remain trapped in this bizarro world. And if I abandon that victory, And most certainly my parents and I will never return to Angie. For Angie's sake, even though I know that the witches are toying with me, I must keep on fighting. Damn it! What's wrong? You look unsatisfied. You've already forgotten how angry you're. Have you already forgotten how angry you were when your sister was turned to mincemeat? You know the spectacle where she was torn to bits, ripped to pieces by countless red-hot pliers. You'd better watch more closely next time, okay? Berncastel pointed the palm of her right hand upwards. And as she did, a pale light gathered there, and some kind of blue glowing crystal appeared. The scene was reflected on its sharp surface, but it wasn't the scene that surrounded them now. If you looked deep into that crystal, that fragment, then you probably would learn what was reflected on there. Ah! If you stared at it, you'd surely see the end Angie finally reached. After waiting 12 years and giving up everything for the sake of her beloved brother. The scene of her death rose as her entire body was torn to bits while she left. Damn you! Without thinking, he grabbed at her collar. But as soon as he touched that which made up her form, it disappeared like foam on the waves. Then, as naturally as though she'd been there from the beginning, Berncastel was leaning against a distant wall. If you step down from the game, this will become not just a fragment, but a definite reality. I won't be the one to create that future. You'll do it yourself. So decide, okay? Figure out what you want to do with your beloved little sister's future. You guys are all fucking bastards. Never trust no fucking witch, bro. Never. Battler's fist shook with anger. But even if he swung them down, he wouldn't be able to hit her. That witch was like a phantom, or a cat who wouldn't even let someone pet her if she didn't wish for it. And she was telling the truth. For Angie's sake, I can't step down from this fight. Even if these unpleasant witches hijack the game board. LOL! That's just like you, Bird. You're even heartless when you threaten people. That's how it is, Battler. You aren't allowed to step down from the game board. You and Beto are nothing more than pieces on the board that exist to distract us from our boredom. Lol. Even your incomprehensible anger and irritation make a wonderful treat to satisfy us. Well, what you're doing now only makes for a cheap snack, though. Those curry-flavored potato wafers that sell for 30 yen a pair? Fuck you, middle finger. I hate witches. I hate witches. I hate witches. You damn witches. Fight for Angie's sake, okay? And for Beto's too, right? In a way that was admonishing or perhaps babying, like the headache you get after eating something too sweet. Berncastel tormented him and smiled. By now the host of this tea party, Beto, was absent, and the guest witches were already making themselves at home. What'll you do, Battler? Will you surrender to fate? Just step down. You've had enough of being toyed with as a witch's piece, right? Sure, stop being one of Burns' pieces.
きっとあんたもエンジェみたいに使い
I'm sure she'll use you and throw you away just like she did with Angie.
あなたに降りる選択肢は与えてない。
I'm not giving you the option of stepping down.
妹の未来のために
Keep fighting for the sake of your sister's future.
私は味方よ。
I'm your ally. I love the little, like, =3 she got going on. The little cat mouth.
その未来にたどり着けるよう
I'm
あ
your
なたが
ally.
勝利するまで
Until you win, I'll support you so you can reach that future.
私が退屈するまで
For all eternity, until I get bored. Stop fucking laughing! Stop! I can't let her provocation and cajolery rile me up. These witches know I get mad easily, and they're trying to take advantage of that. They're rage baiting, bro, and it's working every single time. Battler withstood. Wait, no? He withstood the rage bait? Battler withstood it all and finally relaxed his clenched fists. If you want to start this 5th game of yours, go ahead and do it. Do whatever you want.
好きにするわよ
Yeah, I will do whatever I want.
あれれ
Hey, where are you going? Even though Battler acknowledged this 5th game, he turned his back on them, much to Lambda Delta's surprise. If you're gonna be Beto's substitute, then I'm sure that Bernkasel witch over there can stand in for me if she wants.
道理ね
Not a bad
そうじゃ
idea.
ないと
Better than a loss by default.
何よそれ私が作る渾身のエピソード5
Are you just gonna ignore this episode 5 that I put so much effort into making?
失礼しちゃう失礼しちゃう
Rude!
バトラーはしばらく休憩するそうよ
Battler says he's gonna take a break for a
そ
while.
れまでの間
Till he comes
私が
back, I'll
プ
be
レイ
a
ヤーの代役を
substitute.
務めるそれでどうバトラー
How's that sound, Battler? You do that. Then he fucks off. Cool. Way to go, Battler. Nice.
ラムだ
What's wrong,
間
Lambda?
抜けなバトラーじゃなくて
So you refuse to play if it's against me instead of that fool Battler?
そんな
Of course not. I'm glad I get to play with you, Baron.
さあさあ遊びましょう遊びましょうラムダ
Let's
デル
play,
タ
let's play, let's play together in Lambda Delta-sama's super hyper and cute episode 5.
一応ベアトの作った
This
世界
is
な
technically a world Beto created.
世界観ぶち
You
壊
aren't
し
going
に
to
して
ruin
な
the
いでしょ
atmosphere of the story, are you?
大丈夫だってば
Don't worry about that. I'm really good at reading between the lines for that sort of stuff.
ちゃんとベアトっぽい世界観で
Let me try to use a Beto-ish atmosphere to make a tale that's even more interesting. What?
バトラも休憩終わったら早く
Battler, make sure you come back as soon as your break's over, okay?
見逃すと
I'd
も
be
ったい
ashamed
な
to
いよ
miss this.
ベアトの秘密
I've
に
set up
迫れ
plenty
る
of
ような
bonuses that'll get you closer to her secrets.
用意してると見せかけてミスリード満載でますますに煙に巻く気なんだけど
Or at least that's what it'll look like when it's actually filled with misdirection that makes stuff more and more confusing. Lol.
ちょっとこらバトラ
Oh, he don't gaff right now.
聞いてんの
Aren't you listening when a witch is talking, Battler? Without answering, Battler disappeared into the darkness. After shrugging and cackling, the witches immediately started playing with the game board they'd stolen from Beto. I should make some saves.
あの魔女どもにベアとのゲームは理解できるのか
I'm really gonna miss the dialogue box. I don't think there's any way for me to fix that. Damn. Can those witches really understand Beto's game?
同じゲーム版
Since they're using the same game board, they cannot do anything that this child cannot do.
しかしこの子がやらない
However, they can do things that this child wouldn't do. What do you mean things she wouldn't do?
チェスの道具はチェスで遊ぶために存在します。
The materials of chess exist so that you can play
そ
chess.
れを使ってトランプをする
You
ことも
cannot
できない。
use them to play cards. Oh, so they're gonna play like fucking checkers or Uno with these pieces or
し
what?
かしチェスの駒を相手に投げつけてぶつけたり
However, when it
チェス盤
comes to
に
throwing
落書き
chess
するの
pieces at your opponent and scribbling on the board.
そういう行為をすることも
Oh, okay, never mind. So you can't use them to play a different game. But you can do whatever the fuck you want with the pieces. Okay. Such things are not impossible to do.
しかしそれはチェスに
However, that would be
対する
blasphemy against the game of chess, so people choose not to do that. That definitely wouldn't be chess anymore. Meto's eyes seem to cloud slightly with sadness.
ふざけやがって。
Hold on just a second. Trying to find like a good seating position. Okay. Damn them.
これは俺とベアとのゲ
This
ーム。
game's between me and Beto.
他の誰にも
I won't let anyone else defile it. At that time, gold butterflies gathered and Renove appeared, holding a tea set with black tea.
紅茶のおかわりはいかが
Would
で
you
すか
like some more tea?
もらえるか。
If you wouldn't mind.
かしこまりました
Certainly.
いかがですか
So, how goes this journey of yours in search of Milady's thoughts?
さっぱりだが、
I don't have a clue, but I am enjoying it.
しかしよろしいのですか
However, are you sure about this?
こちらでくつろがれ
Is it truly alright for you to relax here?
あの魔女どもが勝手に進めてるゲー
You
ム。
mean that game those witches just started all by themselves?
え
Indeed.
え先ほど
Just now when I
紅
went
茶
to
を
serve
お届けに
them some
伺った時
tea,
には
the murders of
第
the
一の
first
晩の
twilight
殺
had
人が
already taken
もうじき
place,
その次の殺人も起こりそう
and it seemed as though the next murder would occur shortly. When Beto and I were playing, the game would be paused whenever someone left their seats. However, those witches wouldn't pause that game just because I wasn't around.
ロノウェは奴らのゲームを見たのか。
Did you see their game, Renov?
一部ではございます
Just a part of it.
どうだった？
How was it? Renov lifted the pot high with an elegant gesture as he poured the black tea. After finishing that, he finally spoke. He gave us his impressions of it.
愛がありませんな
Oh. It did not have love.
愛ってなんだ？
What do you mean, love?
これは
My
失礼
apologies.
女性風に申し上げ
That is how a woman might put it.
男性風に
As
申
a
し上げ
man,
義理が通らない
one might call it dishonorable. I understood what those words meant. When I met Virgilia's eyes, she shook her head slightly and stared at the floor.
上辺は大変よくお嬢様のゲームに似せていると思い
I
ます
believe it resembles Milady's games greatly on the
しか
surface.
し根本が
However,
大
its
きく
foundation is quite different.
それはベアとのゲーム。
Does it go against the rules of Beto's game?
いいえ反します
No, it does not.
ラムダデルタ様はお嬢様のゲーム
Lambda Delta Sama actually does understand the rules of Milady's game quite well.
しかし
However, Battler stood up. There was no need to make Renov say any more.
バトラ
ロノウェ、すまない。
Battler. Sorry,
せ
Renov.
っかく入れてもらったけど、
I know you went to all the trouble of pouring this for me, but tea isn't what I need.
やはり参られます
So you
か
will go after all.
ああ
Yeah.
俺たちのゲームに部外者はいない
We don't need any outsiders in our game. These guys weren't even here in the beginning. Because I've been loafing about, crazier and crazier witches have been introduced. And now they've hijacked the game between me and Beatrice.
取り返さねえとな
I've got to take it
ベア
back.
とのゲーム版は
Right now,
今は俺が
I'm supposed to be the one taking care of Beethoven's game board.
その俺がここで
That
ぼんやり
means
する
I
わけに
can't
はい
just sit
かない
around here.
ありがと
Thank
う
you.
その言葉をこの子に聞かせて
I wanted to let this child hear those words.
きっと聞こえていますよ
I'm sure she hears them.
お嬢様は
The lady is
それに
simply
よって
unable
実践
to
できる
answer.
ことです
Beto lay there silently, a living doll with dull eyes. The game board she created herself had been stolen by incomprehensible witches and was being turned into a mess. If I was designated to be her opponent, then Beto must have created this game for me. I've got to take it back.
待ってろ
Did they add that sprite? Or not the sprite. Did they add that little thingy to Battler's sprite? It's pretty cute, like, actually. It's pretty cute. I think I'm a fan of the little thingy he has. I'm a fan of it. It's moe, it's moe, as they say. Okay, quick Wawa break. Okay.
俺が取り返してくれ
Wait here. I'll go and take it back. ... Of course, Beto didn't respond in any way. That's right. If she can't respond, then I have to protect it in her place.
行ってくるぜ
I'll be right back.
バルギリアロノエ
Virgilia, Onov,
黄金の眠り姫の面倒を頼むぜ
I'm counting on you to look after this golden sleeping beauty.
はいお任せ
Yes. Leave it to us.
いってらっしゃいバトラ君
See you later, Battler.
そしてどう
And
かこの
please,
子のいないゲーム
in the game without this
この子の何かを見つけてあげてください
try to find some part of her.
もしそれを見つけ
If
た
you
ら
can,
この子が不在であって
then
も
even if this child's absent, it'll mean you have fought with her.
そうだよな
You're right.
ああ全然
There it is! He's at the line! It's all useless. What am I doing? Let's go. And let's take it back.
魔女ども待たせたな
Sorry to keep you waiting,
俺
witches!
の休憩は終わ
My
ったぞ
break's over! When he faced the jet black heavens and yelled this, the whole world shattered as though it were made out of thin glass. Whoa! Then, as though it'd been that way since the beginning, it transformed to that smoking room where Battler had fought Beto so many times, in which the two witches had now hijacked.
なにあんた
What do you think you're
今頃
doing?
戻ってきたの
You're just coming back now?
遅すぎ
It's too late. Not only has the game reached the second day, it's already the finale. Get it? How did they progress it so damn
来
fast?
ないから私が勝手に進めちゃったわ
You never showed up, so I just advanced things on my own. Like you even waited for me in the first place.
ベルンはあんた
Ren was way more skillful and thrilling than you were, right?
うるせえ
Shut
プレ
up!
イヤーは俺だ
I'm the player.
代役の魔女どもは
You substitute witches can just take a step back now.
別に今から参加しても構わないけどもう
I don't mind if you join in starting now, but there's probably no need for you anymore.
確かに
For
だって
real.
もうクライマックス
After all, for Jinja, we're already at the
これで
climax.
多分ベルンが詰めて
After this, Burn will probably corner me and win.
なんだと
Hell?
いいんじゃない
Nothing wrong with that, is there?
最後の詰めくらい
Why don't we let him watch the final endgame?
そうね
Of course! Come on over, Uchinomiya Battler.
もうほとん
It's
ど
almost completely over, but here's the cute and elegant game I made.
エピソード5
I said 5.
ゴールデンウィッチ
End of the Golden Witch. Whoa! Title drop! Oh my god! Oh shit. Okay, so you're just gonna dump all the information on me right now. Oh, we're just gonna hop straight to the second day. Okay, wait, this is cool. I mean, I suppose it just does become redundant to experience everything again. Oh my god, it's Glorpta! Oh my god, Glorpta! Alright, let's peep what's going on. Alright, who's dead? Jessica, George, Hideyoshi. What? Maria? Oh shit. This is actually like crazy. The 3 kids are dead? Shit. Okay, let's start from the top. Jessica, her corpse was found in the cousin's room on the 2nd floor of the guest house. The direct cause of death is unknown, but her neck was sliced open by a sharp blade. The wound was deep enough that anyone could easily confirm her death with absolute certainty. Okay, let's see. So these 3 were all killed in the same room, 2nd floor of the guest house, in the cousin's room. Okay. Rosa was... Oh, she was killed with the kids. Okay, she was probably watching over them. So the 4 of them died from a sharp blade. What about the stakes, though? What about the stakes? No, I guess the first initial deaths don't need to. I don't remember the portrait up the top, to be honest. Found in the servant waiting room at the 1st floor of the mansion, also sliced open by a sharp blade. The only one who has been pierced by a stake was Hideyoshi. Guest room on the 1st floor of the mansion. A demon stake had pierced through his back until it reached as far as his lungs. As he was lying face down on the bed, it was unthinkable it was suicide. Oh, no, Joel! Right now, no humans exist on this island except for those in this parlor. And with one exception, it has been shown that none of them have committed murder. With one exception, huh? And the culprit is among these people. Oh, wait, no, I get it now. Okay.
おいおいとなると
Oh,
決定的じゃねえか
that means it's conclusive. That means it's conclusive, isn't it?
魔女が犯人
Unless the culprit is a witch who committed murder with magic, that is.
あんたなの
It was you?
あんたがジョージを
You killed George? Killed my husband?
どうしてよ
Hi.
どうして
Why? Oh, is she gonna cry on the floor?
私は
Wait, it's Nazi? What?
私は何も
I didn't kill anyone. I didn't. And just like fucking battler spotting it is so funny actually. And in panic and went up with a voice that was far from calm, in a manner that was, to put it coldly, unsightly. Aunt Natsuhi denied the suspicion placed upon her. However, there was no longer any way around it. She stood up, brushed back her long hair, pointed at Aunt Natsuhi and said it one more time. Who's she? Who the fuck is this?
あなたが犯人です。後宮夏日さん。
Who the fuck are you? What? Wait, oh! This must be Burn's stand-in. You're the culprit, Ushiromiya Natsuhi-san. How are they gonna Whoa! Scared the shit out of me. Let me turn this down a bit. Kinzo! Oh, we saw Kinzo's face for a second. This is a lot more of a lively opening. Or way more livelier opening. Compared to how dramatic the first arc's one was. I mean, it's still catchy. I like it. What, is she just gonna be called, is Burncastell's stand-in just gonna be called Burncastell, or? Alright, let me turn it back up. It's Natsuhi, please open up! She knocked loudly and repeatedly. Natsuhi yelled. Shortly after, there was a heavy clunking sound, and the sound of the door to Kinzo's study unlocking could be heard. As the door opened, a heavily sweet venomous odor flowed out. Natsuhi was always ashamed of how she automatically grimaced at that, even though she thought it rude to the family head. Kraus was waiting for her inside the study. Natsuhi flew into his arms. His father, is he? Calm yourself. Dr. Nanjo is examining him now. With an uncertain gait, Natsuhi walked towards the center of the study, supported by Kraus. Oh no, he dead as fuck. There, a dignified bed fitting for the Ushinomiya family head could be seen, along with Nanjo, Genji, and Kumasawa. Dr. Nanjo, his father... After sighing deeply, Nanjo left the side of the bed. Oh, he did. On the bed, Kinzo could be seen lying down asleep.
大往生だ。
No, Kinzo! Kinzo! He died. Oh, wait. He died peacefully.
金蔵さんも心の
I don't think Kinzo had any regrets.
お父様、お父様。
Rest in peace. Sobbing, Natsuhi slumped over the chest of that man who had fallen into a sleep from which she would never awaken. Hi, Lucy. Yeah, I took about like a month break from Umineko because of voice complications, among other things. But yes, I'm going back to playing Umineko. Madam, please stay strong. Hey! Oh. Father. Father. It's just too sudden. Natsuhi couldn't stop crying over the death of the man whom she had loved like a second father. Kumasawa robbed. Yeah, this feels... I mean, I know it's because it's Lambda Delta's game, but this feels, I won't say grossly mischaracterized, but it certainly does feel a bit out of character. Not even a bit, it feels pretty out of character. Kumasawa rubbed Natsuhi's back, consoling her. Cross slumped into his late father's favorite chair. By sitting there, he might have been immersed in memories of his departed father. He's just fucking Kraus is sitting there. Yes, I remember. Father beat me in this room multiple times with a wooden sword. He looks to the corner. I remember crying in that corner for about 15 minutes straight. I had a heart-shaped bruise on the back of my neck. He looks to the other corner. I'd grown up. I only cried for about 7 minutes, and he'd beaten me in the front, and my stomach had been bruised. Good times with you, Father. Good times. Or perhaps he thought that by sitting there he might be able to understand just a bit of the madness of Kinzo's later years, which he had never been able to comprehend before. Ananjo, just as he had when Kinzo once sat in that chair, contemplating a chess move, turned his back and looked down over the outside world through a crack in the curtains.
同じ死ぬならせめて寝込んで1年後に死亡とか
If only he'd been sick in bed for a year or so first.
もう少ししかるべき準備の猶予期間を設けて
I do wish he could have died after a grace period during which the proper arrangements could have been made.
それは逆だ
It's the other way
最
around.
後の瞬間までお元気だった
We should be glad that he was in high spirits until the very end.
建前上はそうなる
At least that's true as far as public appearances are concerned. Nanjo understood that as well. Ushiromiya Kinzo, who had risen like a comet and glittered like a supernova in the post-war business world, had died. His funeral would probably be of a fantastic scale, and it would also be the ceremony marking Krause's inheritance of the headship. He would have to arrange everything as the host of the event, carry out funeral diplomacy perfectly, and make it clear to all that the Ushiromiya family still had enormous influence in the political and financial spheres. As Nanjo watched Kraus, he was vividly reminded of the time when Kinzo had been suddenly selected as the Ushiromiya family head, and Kinzo had been so lost and confused. In this way, he was able to understand Kraus's distress and sympathize with it. Natsuhi's sobs eventually subsided. Watching this and leaving Kumasawa to care for Natsuhi as a fellow woman, Genji returned to where Cross was. And as though asking what should be done, Genji lowered his head slightly.
手続き等は私と源氏さんでやろう。
Genji-san and I will deal with the formalities.
クラウスさんは
Kraus-san, perhaps you should contact the relatives first. Wait, so is this still the second day? Oh no, it's not. Okay, never mind. Gotcha. Kraus, with his hand still over his eyes, didn't respond. Perhaps even though he had known this day would come, Kraus really couldn't hide his shock at how suddenly it had reached them.
私と南條先生にお任せを。
Leave this to Dr. Nanjo and me.
旦那様は
Kraus-sama, I suggest that you first speak with
良い
Maddie.
かと思います。
Maybe she heard that, or perhaps it was coincidence. As though responding to Genji's words, Natsuhi came over. Her eyes were red from crying so much. But she apparently understood the heavy responsibility that had been imposed on them, even better than Kraus did.
これからはあなたが栄光ある後宮家の当主です。
Starting now, you're the head of the glorious Ushinomiya family.
お父様の後を立派に継いだことを。
Let us show everyone inside and out that you have splendidly succeeded your father.
この夏日、あなたの妻として。
As your wife,
棺を並べる。
I, Natsuhi, am prepared to serve you until the day our coffins are laid down alongside each other. Damn. Okay. She's really ride or die. Trying to encourage her husband, who was overcome with shock, Natsuhi lent him some reassuring words. Oh, excuse me. And Cross finally lowered the hands that had been covering his face. He looked up at the ceiling with a blank expression and let out a deep, deep sigh.
どうかしっかり。
Please stay strong.
お父様の残したものを食い
There
荒
are
ら
a
す
great
後
many
宮から
people who will plan to devour everything father's left behind.
私たちはお父様の名誉と財
Thank
産
you.
を守るために戦
We
わな
must
ければ
fight
なり
to
ません。
protect father's honor and wealth.
それが後宮家当主の最
That's
初
the
の仕
first
事です。
responsibility of the Ushinomiya head.
分かってる。
I understand.
分かっていると。
I do understand.
南條先生と源氏はお役所や葬儀業者への手配を
Dr. Nanjo Genji, please take care of the legal and funeral arrangements.
特に源氏
Especially you,
お
Genji.
父様の葬儀にふさわしいものとなるよう
I ask that you take particular care and see to it that the funeral will be a fitting one for father.
かしこまりました。
Certainly.
それから
And Dr. Nanjo,
お父様は病院で
father didn't pass away in a hospital, so. Indeed.
場合によっては
An autopsy might be required depending on circumstances.
なんとかなりませんか
Can't you do something about
亡
that?
くなったとはいえお父様の大切
Even
な
though
お
he's
体
passed away, father's body is precious.
傷をつけるなど耐えられることで
Any
はありません
damage done to it wouldn't be acceptable.
気持ちはわかる。
I understand how you
そういうところを
feel.
きっちりすることも大切
However,
だ。
it's also important to deal with these matters properly.
それにその
And,
こう言ってはなんだが
I don't really know how to say this.
難しい
But-
親族の方々が多いんだ。
Several of the relatives might make things difficult. Yes? You know how those vultures, after the inheritance, might try to find fault with them. They might claim to have found some reason to suspect the cause of death, using that as a point of contention to start some trouble. Right now, it was important not only to pay Kinzo's remains the respect they were due, but also to solidify the position of the new family head Kraus.
わかりました
Understood.
必要最小限にお願いします
Please keep it to an absolute minimum.
間違ってもお父様の威
Make
厳が
sure
損なわれ
that
るようなお
the
姿に
father's
しない
dignity
よう
is
に
not damaged, even by mistake.
それは大丈夫だ。
That will be fine. That'll be fine.
安心しなさい。
Don't worry. In any event, leave Kinzo-san to us and stay by Cross-san's side. Things will start to get quite difficult from here on out.
分かっています。あな
I
たも
understand.
どうかしっかり。
And you too, dear. Please stay strong. I can't believe Kinzo's dead. I mean, I guess we knew it the entire time because it's based off the last 4 episodes, but I don't think they'd keep to it. Unless that was like one of the rules? Well, no. They also mentioned that when you use red and what was it? Oh, well, yeah. When they use red, it's only relative to that moment in time, I believe. She understood the shock and heavy responsibility he bore. Natsuki understood her husband's feelings as much as anyone.
親族への連絡は
I'll
私に
contact the
します。
relatives.
今だけは休まれてくだ
Please
さい。
rest for the time being. Kraus didn't respond. Natsuki, thinking him to be just a bit unreliable at the moment, decided she must offer her support. Seeing her husband like this actually spurred Natsuki to action, and a resolute expression rose to her face.
これから忙しくなります。
Things will get busy from now
今
on.
できることを始め
Let's
ましょう。
start by doing whatever we can right now.
夫はきっとお父様と二人きりで話したいこともあると思います。
I'm sure my husband wants to have some time alone with father.
私たちは一度
We should step out for a
外出しま
moment.
しょう。
そうでございますね。
Oh, good point.
その時間
After all, this will probably be the last time he gets that chance. Being in charge of a funeral is tiring work. There's no time to shed tears. If Cross were ever to be given time to cry for his dead father, that time would have to be now. Everyone agreed with Kumasawa's words. Even so, Kraus continued to blankly gaze up at the ceiling and didn't respond in any way. Is he crashing out? Nancy urged the servants to go.
私はジェシカにも
I'll
話して
go
いま
talk
す。
to Jessica too.
今やあの子が次期当主で
That
す。
child's now the successor to the
それにふ
headship.
さわしい自覚を持つ
I'll make sure to tell her to be fully
言い聞かせ
prepared.
なくて
待て。
Oh. Wait. As they each started to make their way out of the study, Kraus finally spoke. They stopped walking.
はい
Yes.
待て。
Wait.
はい
Yes. Hadn't she already stopped walking just like her husband had asked? Despite that, he once again told her to wait. From those slightly weak words, Natsuki understood that he'd probably stopped her because he wanted her to be by his side.
お前たちは下へ。
The rest of you downstairs.
私は夫
I'll
と
stay
言いま
with
す。
my
何
husband.
かあったらここに
Please
電
call
話
us
す
on
る
the phone if anything happens.
かしこまりました。
Certainly.
だから待てと言っている。
Oh, he's saying that. I thought I told you to wait! When Kraus suddenly raised his voice, everyone jumped and turned around. Unable to comprehend what she'd done to spark her husband's wrath, Natsuki ran up to him.
どうしましたあなた。
What's wrong, dear?
私は何か失礼な
Have
こと
I
を口にしてしまいまし
said
た。
something
だ
rude?
ったらお許しを。
If so, please forgive me.
いや、違う。そうじゃない。
No, that's not it. That's not it.
少し待て。
Wait a second. Give me some time.
分かって
Yes, I understand.
心を整理するためにも必要で
It's
す。
important to sort things out inside your heart.
私たちはその時間をあなたにあげようと、ここから静かに出ていくだけ
We
で
were just
すよ。
going to leave this place in silence to give you some time, okay?
だからそれを待てというのだ。
I'm telling you to wait before doing
いい
that.
か。誰もその場から動くな。
No one move.
一歩たりともだ。
Not even an inch.
疲れたなら、椅子にでもソファ
If
に
you're
でも
tired, then feel
好き
free
に
to
座
sit
れ
in
ばいい。
whichever chair or sofa you
だから
want.
何も喋らずに静かに黙って。
So just stay quiet and don't talk, don't do anything. Those unreasonable words felt like a glimpse of how Kinzo used to be. Natsuki couldn't hide her slight surprise at this behavior, which almost made it seem like as though Kinzo... I was just about to say, did Kinzo's spirit possess him? Natsuhi told them to wait for the time being. She ordered them to sit on the sofa a short distance off, approached her husband, and spoke to him in a small voice. If you order it, I'll wait however long you ask. I won't move. So please try and calm yourself.
違う。そうではないのだ。
No,
そうではないのだ。
that's not it. That's not it. Was it really blood, or was he actually being possessed? Krause's disorderly style of speech strongly resembled Kinzo's. As she watched this, Natsuhi became certain that Krause was Kinzo's son after all, and that he was the true successor more suitable than any other.
夏日。
Natsuhi, come here. Krause stood up and headed towards the window, trying to lengthen the distance between himself and the servants waiting on the sofa by even a small amount. Natsuhi realized that must mean he has something secret to discuss. Yes, dear. What is it?
親父に死なれては
Father dying
まずいのだ。
is bad. No shit, Krause. No fucking shit. People dying is a bad thing, I think.
しかし、もうお亡くなりになりました。
Father dying is bad. But he's already passed away.
そういうわけには参り
We
ません。
can't turn back time.
そうじゃない。
That's not it.
今はまずいんだ。
It's bad that it happened now.
どういうことですか？
Is this the embezzlement?
親父の財産を担保にしている。
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Here we go, brother. I've been putting father's fortune up as collateral.
相続問題になれば隠し通せない。
I won't be able to hide it when the division of the inheritance comes into question. What?
担保です。
Collateral, you say? What does that mean?
いかほど。
メロディーランドの時、近藤君を応援したことが
You remember how I helped out Kondo-kun back in Melody Land?
あの方とは縁を切れと申し上げたじゃありませんか。
Didn't I tell you to break ties with that person?
私には断って
I
いた。
thought you said you'd refused him.
どうして？
Why?
男の義理というものがある。
There's such a thing as a man's honor.
断れなかった。
I couldn't refuse. You could have just said no. Cross claimed to hold honor as a virtue. However, Natsuhi knew that he most often used this as an excuse for when he reluctantly went along with some deal that he just couldn't refuse.
お金に余裕があるならいざ知れず。
That wouldn't be a problem if we had plenty of money on
この
hand.
島のリゾート計画でかなりの借金をされたのではありません
But
でしたか。
didn't you borrow quite a lot of money for the plan to turn this island into a resort?
ああ、したさ。
Yes, I did.
方々で恩人に
And there were people here and there who lent me a hand along the way.
それらを返済するためにも座しているわけに
If
はいかない。
I'm going to repay them, I can't just sit around on my hands.
返済するためには
You
金がい
need
る。
money to repay people.
金を生むためには金がい
You
る。
need money to make money.
金がなければ始まらない。
You can't even get started without money.
この島の計画
And
が
even the plan for this island would be proceeding smoothly if only there hadn't been problems with the planning company.
都の役人とも連携は取れていた。
I made contact with a government official in the
東
city.
京都の新しい観光
I
スポット
even
にな
got
る
the
と知事の
governor's
再
word
三
that this would
を
become the newest travel destination in the Tokyo metropolis.
私の根回しは完璧だったのだ。
The groundwork I laid was completely perfect.
たまたま巡り合わせとタイミングが悪く、
Random chance and bad timing were against me.
ちょっとした運のすれ違い。
It was just a bit of bad luck.
事故みたいなものだった。
Like a traffic accident.
事故なんかではありません。
That was no accident. It was fraud.
あなたは騙された
You
のです。
were tricked. They were never drawing up plans for turning this island into a resort in the first place.
そんなことはない。
That's not true.
土方君のビジョンを
Hijikata-kun's vision was simply overflowing with foresight, though his eyes always focused on the whole world in the future. Taught me that things I always believed to be mere dreams were only the tip of the iceberg of what's possible. Expand your dreams of the whole world to the... He sounds like such a tech bro right now. He sounds like such a fucking Silicon Valley tech bro wannabe. Oh my god.
一緒に聞いていただろう。
He's putting all of his business ideas into like fucking Grok and fucking Chat GPT, and he's being told like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, you should do that. You heard him say that too, right?
そしてお帰りになられた後に
Yes.
申し上げたはずです。
And I clearly remember telling you what I thought after we returned
あの
home.
方はうさんくさい。
I said he was suspicious, that he only spoke of dreams and didn't have his feet planted on the
これ以上お
ground,
付き合いしてはなら
and
ない
that you mustn't have any further relations with him.
土方君は立派な好青年だ。
Oh no. Hijikata is a wonderful, pleasant young man.
彼の生き様
One could learn a lot from the way he lives.
彼は若い
I can respect him despite his youth. You got scammed,
彼
broski.
のことを侮辱することは許さんぞ。
I won't have you insulting
あ
him.
なたは同じことを月旅行の時
That's
に
what you said about the whole moon tourism thing.
先見性がある。
You kept saying it was visionary, that it looked to the future, that it had high aspirations, and what was the end?
荒唐無稽な話だったと。あなたは
Eventually, you yourself admitted that it was utter nonsense, right?
私は
I was sure something was wrong ever since that strange man showed up claiming to be a high-ranking NASA official.
俺はあの外国人が
And that foreigner was nothing more than an international swindler.
あの件について
Both Mr. Sonozaki and I were victims in that case. Right now, his vision isn't mistaken.
将来必ず
In the future, there will surely come a time when the richest people in the world develop a liking for space travel.
そしてその最初の事業を民間医者によって
And the very first enterprise in that area will probably be monopolized by a single private company.
着眼点は間違っていない
That viewpoint isn't mistaken.
それを利用して世界中の投資家を
There was simply a group of international... There was simply a group of international swindlers who were trying to take advantage of that fact and deceive investors across the world.
曽根崎という男もその一味だったと申し上げているのです。
And I'm telling you that the Sonozaki man was one of them too.
あなたはどこまでお人よしなのですか。
How gullible are you? Why do you always just accept these suspicious offers with no doubts?
訂正しろ
Take that back!
私は優秀な
Sonozaki is a man with a brilliant future ahead of him.
三不足などない
There's nothing sus about him.
彼の語る夢は未来を先取りしているからこそそれが見えるものには
Always talking of the future, but never of the now. Very interesting.
女のお前には未来など見えん
A woman like you can't see into the future.
ええ、女の私には未来など見えません。
Yes, a woman like me can't see into the future.
でも現在なら見えます。
But I can see the present.
私の目の前
Right in front of me, I can see a pitiful husband who's been taken in by sly double-crossing swindlers and still trusts them implicitly even after he's been tricked.
ねえに誰
Shut your mouth.
お前には
You don't understand anything about money or business or economics.
夫の仕事に口を出すな
Don't try to butt in on your husband's job.
妻は価値だけ
A
を
wife should be satisfied with doing housework.
お前は
Oh,
Yay, inherited misogyny! Woohoo! Yay!
keep your mouth shut. Oh no, Natsuhi, sweetheart. Without another word, Natsuhi fell silent just as Kraus had hoped she would. She was already far beyond anger and sadness. And the emotion that lay on the other side of those was an almost indifferent pity. Oh no. She spoke total truth. Then again, he sounds way more like his dad. I mean, it feels like he inherited the ambition of his father, but none of the luck that Kinzo had. None of the luck. Kraus, who had been in awe of Kinzo since he was young, had started to subconsciously admire the way his father lived. And without realizing it, he'd come to believe that he could only be recognized as a man in his own right if he surpassed his father. However, Kinzo had been a mad genius, the likes of which had never been before seen in the Ushinomiya family's long history. That talent was a gift from heaven, and it definitely wasn't genetic, much less something that could be learned. To give the two of them a chance to talk alone, Natsuki told the servants not to tell anyone about Kinzo's death, and they left the room for the time being. Then she invited Kraus to her bedroom, and made him tell her everything about their current financial situation. These were things that Natsuki hadn't been told about under the assumption that a woman had no business knowing. Natsuki had herself made a point of avoiding this area in the past, thinking that it wasn't a wise place to intrude on such matters. It is your place now, girl! However, this might have also meant that she'd abandoned her duty as a wife to protect her family. The depths of this sin had been made quite clear to Natsuki. And Kraus was probably tired of trying to defend himself. Perhaps because he'd gotten a headache, he had his face and sank into silence. Natsuki noticed that the water in the electric kettle was boiling and stood up to refill her cup with black tea. When she touched the cup of black tea, she noticed for the first time. The sound of the cup and saucer clinking together told her that her fingers were shaking. Kraus had built up a large debt to obtain funds for his various projects and to cover the losses when they failed. Oh, you fucking failure. God damn it. Of course, he had put the mansion and property up as collateral. Of course. What haven't you put up for collateral? He would put his fucking organs up as collateral if possible. Actually, he probably has. However, doing such a thing above board would result in the mortgage being registered. In other words, there would be a record that Kraus had put Kinzo's wealth up as collateral to obtain a loan without anyone's permission. Kinzo, Eva, and the others mustn't learn of such a thing. Therefore, Kraus had been putting those assets up as collateral using the worst possible method. What would that be? Word of mouth?
権利書と印章を預けた。
それはどういう意味ですか？
I don't know what that means. LOL! I signed over the deeds and power of attorney. What does that mean? What Kraus was saying probably meant that he had, in essence, signed away the rights to his assets. If these assets had been used as collateral for a loan, then Kraus would still have some leeway under the law. He'd have to deal with a bank which would have absolutely no compassion, but they'd be able to work something out within the rules set by society. However, signing away the deed and power of attorney was a whole different story. Hey, Rebellious, hello. In other words, even the mansion they were living in. If the person holding the deed were to decide to ignore his agreement with Kraus and sell the mansion to a third party right this moment, they'd have no recourse whatsoever. Far from using collateral for a loan, this was basically the same as selling their house to borrow money! LOL, you're a fucking idiot, Kraus! You're a fucking idiot, Kraus, oh my god!
後宮家の生殺与奪は金貸したちの手に委ねら
No
れていたわけ
fucking
です。
way. Worst businessman of year 1986 to 2025. Hi, Tian. Meow. In other words, the moneylenders have power to make or break the Ushinomiya family as they
彼らは
please.
ほんのわずかの気まぐれを起
If
こす
they were to suddenly sell our
突然この
house
家を
on
売り払
some
ったら
slight whim,
私たちは今すぐにも荷物をまと
we'd
め
have to
出
pack
て
our
いかなく
bags
ては
and
な
leave
らな
right
いと
now,
いうこと
wouldn't
です
we?
理屈上はそう
That's technically true.
だ。だが、取引の相手はいずれも社会的
However,
信用の
everyone I
あ
have
る
had
人物ばかりだ。
dealings with is very reputable.
その金じゃないぞ。
This isn't consumer financing, it's a transaction based on trust between economically literate men. You're not very economically literate, my friend.
私も相手を信用している。
I trust
だって
them.
私
They
に
in
手を
turn
貸
trust
す
that
こと
by
で
lending
私
me
が大きな
money,
事
I
業
will
を
achieve
成功
great
させ
success in
投
business
資した額
and
が
give them
大き
massive
くなってくれ
returns
る
on
と
their
いうことを信
investment.
用し委任状を預けたのは私の誠意と事業の絶対の成功を
I signed over the power of attorney as a sign of good faith, and so that they wouldn't have to doubt in the certain success of my business.
ここで渋ったらどうなる
Happens if I hesitate now. What did that mean even if I have no confidence? What did that mean even I have no confidence in my own business? If you were such a successful businessman, we wouldn't be in debt now, would we? You should have said that, girl. Natsuki only barely stopped herself from saying that.
お父様は亡くなりました
Father's
する
dead.
と
What
あ
happens
な
next?
たの借金が白日
Will
の
your
もと
debt be exposed to the light
他
of
の兄
day?
弟たちに咎められる
And
こ
will
と
your
になる
siblings hold you responsible?
それだけでは済まない
That won't be all.
と刑事訴
It
訟
will probably lead to criminal charges.
刑事訴訟
Criminal charges?
どうしてですか
Why?
君は知らない方がいい
It's better if you don't know.
絶対にこのことを誰にも知られて
Anyway,
は
this
なら
must not be learned of by anyone. Ross looked at the floor shamefully, shaking his head over and over. If it would if it would come to criminal charges, then he must have broken some laws. He's probably been so intent on raising a large sum of money that nothing had mattered to him but survival. Kraus had seriously believed that he would succeed with several businesses, and that he'd definitely gain huge profits. So he had figured that even if he stepped over a few legal lines, he'd be able to pay everything back before too long and pretend that the whole thing never happened. This may have been the factor that lessened his resistance towards breaking a couple of laws. Now, Kinzo's death, the worst possible thing occurred, and they wouldn't be able to keep it all hidden for long.
私たちはどうなるのですか
What'll happen to us?
心配すること
There's no need to worry.
君は信じてくれ
You
ない
may not believe it, but conditions are most certainly on the rise now.
私が都心で投資した不動産価値は
The value of the city real estate I lived in or invested in will rise rapidly.
今それらを
Right now, I'm working on a project to integrate those and construct a massive business tower.
これは私のこれまでの
This will be the most reliable of all my investments so far, and will prove to be the most successful.
ただそれは身をつけるのに
However, it's always a little more time with these types of guys. I just need a little more time, man. I just need a little more time. I swear, it'll profit, man. Always the same thing. Same thing as gambling. I just need one more. Just one more hit, man. I'm gonna get it, man. I'm gonna win it big, man. You can trust me, man. I'm good for it, man.
絶対に確実だが今すぐ
It's absolutely certain, but that doesn't mean it'll happen now.
その事業の成
Will the
功
success of that venture be enough to pay back our
借りるもので
debts?
すか
もちろんだと
Of course it
これ
will.
までの借金を
I'll be able to wipe out all the debt I've
全て
accumulated so
だから
far.
信じてくれ
So have faith in
もう
me.
少しだけ時間が
I
欲しい
only need a little more time.
しかしお父様は
But
もうお亡く
father's
なりにな
already
ってしまいま
dead.
したもうその時間はないのですよ
We don't have that kind of time anymore, do we?
分かっている分かっているとも
I know that.
だからどこかから金を調達
That's
して
why I
今
have
すぐ
to
に借金
obtain
を返
money
さな
from
くてはなら
somewhere
ない
and pay off those debts
と
right
にか
now.
く金が必
I
要だ
need money.
金が大量に
Money. A lot of it right now.
うわーうわー
He really does have Kinza's blood. Not as full-spirited as, obviously, Battler or Kinzo. But there was a shred of his blood, of Kinzo's blood in that scream. As Kraus roared and clutched at his head, he writhed about as if in pain. As she watched, several emotions swirled about in Natsuhi's chest. 1. Why'd I marry this guy? 2. This guy fucking blows. 3. I need to leave him. She felt pity for her husband while also feeling that he was a fool. He is. And she felt a mixture of resentment and regret towards her own irresponsibility in letting her husband run wild for so long. Even if this day hadn't come, it should have been clear that they were in a very critical situation. And yet he had carelessly waited for this moment to come, and was now writhing about. Her husband was so foolish and so pitiful. It'd be easy to let herself get fed up with this. However, she was his wife. For a wife, ridiculing her husband as a fool would run in conflict with her responsibilities. If he was a fool, then she would have to support him enough to compensate. However, she didn't have a clue what she should do, since there had been such a massive amount of money within arm's reach. It was only natural that Kraus had tried to dip his hands into it. It would also be easy to tell him to be a man and give up on all of it. That'd be so fucking funny, actually. That'd be so fucking funny if you just told him that, Natsu, please. But that would also run in conflict with her responsibilities. She was Ushiromiya Natsuhi, the woman who had become Kraus's wife and sworn to support him, the new head of the family for her whole life. She had to somehow help her husband in his efforts to raise money. She understood it logically, but she couldn't suppress the indescribable dejection that seemed to rise up from the dark depths of her heart. Oh, the gold!
The freaking gold! Oh my god, the fucking hidden gold! Oh shit!
That's right! Father's hidden gold. 10 tons of gold is worth 20 billion yen. If I had that. I had that, all our problems would be solved. That's it, Natsuhi. The witch's epitaph. Let's solve that. Let's solve it together. If we can just find the gold, everything will work itself out. That's right. It must be hidden somewhere on this island. Oh, brother. Oh, that hurts. Are you squeezing it? Stop! That hurts, dear. Please stop it. Kraus, acting as excited as if he'd thought up a perfect, brilliant plan, grasped Natsuhi's upper arms tightly. Natsuhi couldn't help but be dumbfounded. She wasn't just taken aback because she'd heard him bring up something as fake-sounding as a hidden gold. This was Kraus, who usually mocked the story of the... Oh, right, yeah. He's that desperate, Oh my god, bro. He's in it. He's in it. This was Kraus who usually mocked the story of the gold, saying that it didn't exist, and that was all an illusion his father created to borrow a lot of money. That was why Natsuhi was doubtedly taken aback, or doubly taken aback. Yes, let's have Jessica help us too. Maybe some things can be solved with a child's sensitivity. This is a family crisis. All of us have to stick together. Yes, it's a fanciful riddle that Father created. We should be able to solve it, and there's no reason we wouldn't be able to solve it. It's the only way! Oh, Nazi, this is wonderful. We still have an option left, and it's right here next to us. The gold is on this island. If we had it, every one of our problems would be solved. Oh yeah, he's lost it. He's fucking lost it, man. Nazi, call Jessica here right away. Let's overcome this family crisis together. Yes, right now. The gold on this island is right beside us. Oh, what? What a pathetic noise. Unable to withstand the pain, and the army was twisting in his excitement. Nazi knocked Cross aside. Cross tripped over the edge of the bed and flopped over onto the floor. Lol. Please get a hold of yourself and please calm down. Do you really think that this Ushiromiya family crisis could be solved by something as dreamlike as that? Natsui. Please cool your head and think of a realistic plan to gather money. I'm going to go cool my head as well. Wait, Nazi! Maybe I'd come to his senses the instant he fell over. Cross tried to tell Natsuya to stop, but she just kept walking. After closing the door, rather forcefully, Natsuya dashed away. She ran through the corridor. Oh, right into Genji. Even though she didn't want anyone to see her like this, she ran headlong into Genji. My deepest apologies. Madam, have you been injured? I'm fine. Please leave me alone. Certainly. Oh, Genji. How are things going in Father's study? It is just as you left it. Although Dr. Nanjo's in the parlor. Is that so? Do you have the key to the study? Yes. Right here. Give it to me. Let me have some time alone with Father. If my husband asks where I am, tell him you don't know. Certainly. After grabbing the key to the study that Genji was holding out to her, Natsuhi rushed up the stairs. She then flew into the study, let out a wail, and cried. Oh. You poor, poor thing. And then Kinzo rises up from his bed and he's like, You fools! You thought I was fucking dead? No, I'm alive! Oh. Wow, she really did love him. Either this is a side we never saw, or they're painting her in a different light for episode 5, as far as the relationship goes between Kinzo and Natsuhi. Father, please forgive our foolishness. My husband and I were not capable of inheriting all that you created. Please. Please forgive us for our foolishness and our crimes. And if you can forgive us, please guide the way for us fools. Clinging to Kinzo as he slept in the bed, Natsuhi cried even harder. She kept imagining Kinzo sitting up suddenly and patting her head. Oh. Father isn't the type of person to pamper. More likely he'd yell at me to stop being so noisy. However, neither of these imaginations came true. Because it was an undeniable fact that Kinzo had entered an eternal sleep. But even so, Natsuhi begged the sleeping Kinzo to forgive and help them. It was still only a few hours after his passing. Perhaps his soul was still here listening to her. Believing this, Natsuhi begged for Kinzo's forgiveness and help even more earnestly. Oh.
やかましいぞ。私は沈黙を尊ぶといつも言っている。
No fucking way. What? No, she's delusional. She's delusional. This is an illusion. This is the illusion of the witch. This is the illusion of the witch they were talking about in the character things or whatever. This is the illusion of the witch they were talking about. No fucking way. No fucking way. I'm not tweaking. I'm not tweaking. No, you can't trick me. You can't trick me again. Too noisy. Haven't I always said that I hold silence as a virtue? That voice made Natsuhi jump up in surprise. Kinzo's spirit, oh! Kinzo! Okay, yeah, she's tweaking, never mind. When she faced in the direction the voice had come from, she saw Kinzo sitting at the desk, folding up his reading glasses. Did you get in a fight with Kraus again? Neglecting his wife like that. That Kraus only inherited my bad traits. Father. What a wretched looking face. Wash it. Aren't you the wife of the successor of the Ushinomiya family? You mustn't let the servants see you wear such a shameful expression. Yes, father. My apologies. Natsuhi understood. This was just an illusion. One that Natsuhi had created out of her desire to speak with a memory of Kinzo as he once was. I hope he laughs, please. That wasn't it. She believed that just for now, Kinzo's soul had shown itself to her. She was sure that doubting this would cause it to vanish in an instant. It seems that at the instant the family headship was passed on, the family has reached a crisis. Yes, father. I wasn't able to support my husband. I'm truly very sorry. The Ushinomiya family is so very cursed. It was in a terrible state when I succeeded the headship too. That makes your suffering almost seem cute in comparison. Kinzo's succession to the family headship had come suddenly. At the time, he'd been nothing more than a single young man from a branch family, far separated from the Ushinomiya main family. The main family might have had honor and tradition, but Kinzo had nothing to do with that. Then the principal members of the main family were wiped out in the Great Kanto earthquake along with their businesses. On top of that, there had been a complicated antagonism between the members of the family at the time. The elders had all tried to impose their will on the others in that sinking ship. Because of this, they weren't even able to elect a leader to revive the Ushinomiya family. They then found a common ground and selected Kinzo, a youth with absolutely no ties to any of the opposing elders, to be the head. So the elders hadn't really entrusted Kinzo with the rebuilding of the Ushinomiya family. He was nothing more than their puppet with his arms and legs pulled in opposite directions. Yes, I know a lot about your days of suffering, Father.
And then the war started. At the time, I was already tired of life. I hoped I would die on the battlefield, but I wasn't sent to the front lines. However, the state of the war grew worse with every day, and the time for the decisive battle on the Japanese mainland seemed to grow ever closer. As terrible as it may sound, I prayed for that day to come quickly.
After listening to the approaching footsteps of that Reaper day in and day out, it is said that Kinzo started cutting his ties with this world one by one. Then on that day when he had severed all his regrets when he reached the state of enlightenment, it said that he had a mystical experience. It said that he met her, the Golden Witch Beatrice.
I made a contact with the witch, and was given the power of gold and madness. On that day, the old me died, and a new me possessing the insane power of magic was born.
I know. But after the war, you used your ingenious cunning to revive the family. The now deceased elders who knew Kinzo at the time had whispered to each other that Kinzo must have bumped his head on the battlefield and returned with a different personality. That was how much he stood out after the war. She taught me how to do that fucking crazy laugh I always do. Whether the story about Kinzo meeting a witch was true or not, there could be no doubt that the extraordinary experience of war had prepared him for death and led him reach a state of enlightenment. If you wanted to describe that mystical experience following all that as a meeting with a witch, that claim certainly shouldn't be dismissed out of hand. That's right. You returned from the war, conquered the witch Beatrice, and became the head of the Ushinomiya family in the truest sense.
Correct. Before I met Beatrice, I was nothing more than a puppet, only the head in name. I only became the head after conquering the Golden Witch.
Father, will this Golden Witch aid my husband Kraus now that he's the new head?
No, she will. Assuming that he has truly succeeded the headship.
What do you mean by truly?
I mean, it depends on whether he bears the responsibility and pride of the family head in the truest sense. Natsu, you should understand this. The headship is not inherited by blood. It is inherited through spirit and conviction. Even though Kraus is my eldest son, he cannot be called the true head if he does not possess these things. And if that spirit were to dwell in a human, even someone other than Kraus, they would make a splendid new head. Beatrice will lend her power to that true head. Isn't that right, Beatrice?
Wait, but I thought... Huh? When Kinzo called the witch's name, gold butterflies seethed out of every corner of the room. This fantastical scene had an otherworldly beauty to it. It was like standing in the midst of a blizzard of golden flower petals being blown about a rose garden of gold. As Natsuki stared at the scene in shock, the gold butterflies gathered and formed a human shape. And it's gonna be like Walmart Beatrice or some shit. No, it's real Beatrice! Then the witch of the portrait appeared. Indeed, I am the Ushiromiya family alchemist, the Golden Witch Beatrice. I'm free to run rampant. I listen to no one's orders.
And there's only one person in the world who can control her. Me! That is why I am qualified to be the Ushiromiya family head.
So it's that pride of yours that qualifies you.
Pride requires self-confidence and bravery. And it is the embodiment of the insatiable desire to gain power to match those traits. That is why I control you.
Excuse me. Watching men who speak of pride turn those desires into reality can be quite pleasant. The quiet man of action is nothing more than an excuse used by the extremely lucky. A true monarch also speaks of what he doesn't have, and he makes that pride a reality without fail. If one's to control me, they must possess such a monarch's pride.
Do you understand, Natsuki? A true monarch fears no hardship. They declare that they will overcome anything without fail, even if they haven't figured out how. This gives hope to the weak. They gather, revere the monarch, and swear to assist him. This is where power is gained and his word is carried out. Engrave that into your heart.
Yes, father. Natsuki understood. Through this mystical experience, Kinzo was telling her how to prepare herself to overcome hardship, even after his own death. Feeling a warm sensation rise up in her chest, she let the valuable words Kinzo had given her echo through her mind over and over. A true monarch, in other words, the true head of the Ushinomiya family mustn't fear hardship. They must believe they can overcome any hardship. If they can't believe it about themselves, then they'll have no chance of overcoming their challenges. She suddenly felt very ashamed of the way she'd entered this room, sobbing and asking Kinzo what to do. I was foolish. Of course there's no time for crying when a crisis is upon us. And now that we've inherited the Ushinomiya family from you, father, we must protect its honor no matter what. Even though you can't draw a blueprint on how to repay Cross's debts. Beatrice laughed unpleasantly. No, that wasn't it. She was testing Natsu to see whether she possessed the mental readiness to be a true monarch. Natsuhi wasn't confused anymore. She answered clearly, gazing into her eyes. Yes. At this moment, I haven't yet discovered the method we should pursue. However, my husband is the new head of the Ushinomiya family, and I his supporting wife. So I will proclaim it in my husband's place. Let's hear it. Ushinomiya, Kraus, and Natsuhi will definitely overcome these trials and protect the honor of the Ushinomiya family. You have nothing to worry about, father.
Do you know the scope of Kraus's debt, as well as the horrible state things are in?
Yes. If the worst happens and we're ordered to leave this mansion tomorrow, we won't be able to refuse. During the distribution of inheritance, the relatives might even file a criminal complaint. However, there's no need to worry. All we have to do is kill all the other relatives. There's no need to worry. We'll repay all of the debts before then and restore our honor. As she stood at attention with a resolute attitude, Natsuhi proclaimed this clearly with Ushinomiya, Kinzo, and Beatrice as witnesses. For a while they remained silent as though weighing Natsuhi's resolve. Then Kinzo chuckled and turned away.
Kinzo chuckled. I assume you mean the Chaos Emerald. Or no, in this case, I assume you're talking about the Ushinomiya inheritance.
Kinzo chuckled. This is a good screenshot.
How vexing. Why couldn't this person have been my son?
The very fact that a woman with such a disposition married your son is another sign of your great luck. Me at dinner time? Ah! Ah! I'm screaming loud as fuck in your ear! Ah! La, 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 la.
Beatrice, this is my final order.
Now that you're no longer the head, I'm not obligated to obey it.
Oh. In that case, obey the orders of the new Ushinomiya family head.
You're no longer the head, and Kraus isn't the head either. Or are you suggesting I serve Natsuhi? Wah!
Oh. I will leave that to you. It is up to you to decide who is qualified to succeed the Ushinomiya family head, and who's fitting to bear the mark of the one-winged eagle. You will ensure that it is so.
I refuse. Lol. I won't listen to the orders of a man who isn't the head.
No. This is different.
He's actually leaving a will? What?
This is a will. The last order that the head left behind for you.
Then it seems I'll have to obey. After all, I can be quite accommodating.
Liar.
Hmm.
You're only doing this because it caught your interest, aren't you?
Can't hide anything from you, can I?
Natsue,
Yes, father.
go and overcome your hardship.
Yes. That might have seemed like a mere response to Natsuhi, but to Kinzo and Beatrice it seemed to be of something. It seemed to be something of much greater significance. Beatrice nodded deeply, and with emotion as elegant as her dress, she bowed deeply before Natsuhi.
Oh shit!
I shall give you my aid to assist the Ushinomiya family in overcoming another crisis. Thank you. I will need your power. You will most certainly overcome these trials. I will not hold back in my support for your cause, but there's something I must warn you about beforehand. I understand that your troubles now could be solved if I were to grant you a vast quantity of gold like I did when I saved Kinzo. However, that's something I cannot do. Is that so?
Sorry, Natsue. Beatrice's gold came from a contract limited to my generation. It was agreed that it could only be passed on to another, if that person solves the witch's epitaph.
The gold is sealed away by the epitaph. As long as it's not solved, you cannot be given the golden magic. I understand. Then I shall search for another method by which we can save ourselves. My husband said his plan would take time, but he also said it would surely be sufficient to repay our debts. If we can buy enough time for that to happen, we'll be able to overcome this trial.
Good, Natsue. Continue.
But Kinzo's already dead. The doctor and servants are preparing his funeral. You were about to contact the family members. By your own hands, you'll bring an end to this ploy for time. How charming is the guillotine where you lower the blade yourself. Startled, Natsuhi looked up at the ceiling. There wasn't actually anything there. But even so, Natsuhi had found something.
Huh? So the magical power has descended.
Natsuhi, have you made up your mind? What magic of miracles do you desire from me? Once again, all of those who had witnessed Kinzo's corpse were gathered in the study. Cross was still impatient and clutching at his head. Genji was as expressionless as ever. Lol. Nanjo and Kumasawa wore bewildered expressions on their faces. But in stark contrast to all of them, Natsuhi wore a resolute expression. Dear, let me ask you one more time. Your plan for raising money is absolutely certain?
Yes. Give it a year. Just half a year, and it will certainly bear fruit. But it's just impossible to hope for anything right now.
Then we will wait. But you said it yourself.
Father's already dead.
Father hasn't passed away. He's still there as healthy as ever. When Natsuhi said this, everyone jumped and looked up, because they instantly understood what those words meant. However, Cross alone didn't get it right away and asked her.
それは
What
どういう意
do
味
you mean by that?
親父はも
You already know, buddy.
う現にそこに
Father's already in reality right there.
繰り返します。
I will say it again.
お父様は未だに
Father is still in good
ご
health.
自身の研究がお忙
He's
しいので
he's busy with his
これまで以上に
he's busy with his research, so he'll be even less able to leave his study than
で
usual.
すから私たちはお父様の
Because of this, we
研究に
must handle all
専念
external
できるよう
affairs
にお父
ourselves,
様に不要なお仕
so
事
that
が
Father
及ば
can
ないよ
devote
うにしな
himself
くて
to
は
his
なりません
research without being burdened by meaningless tasks.
つまりそれはこれまでと何ら変わらない
In
という
short, nothing will change from the way things have been.
理解できていますね
Do you understand, Genji?
はい
Yes.
片翼のわしの家具は
The furniture of the one-winged eagle will continue to serve the master.
熊沢そして
Kumasawa,
南條先
and
生
you, Dr.
私の
Nanjo,
話は
do you
理解
understand what
で
I'm
きまし
saying?
たね
Oh, yes.
それでいいのかね
Is that truly all right, Natsui?
お父様は確かに今日
It may be
お亡く
true
な
that
りになっ
father
て
passed
し
away
まい
today,
しかし
but if
今
everyone
この場
here
にいる
right now
私たち
believes,
全員が信じる
we
こと
can revive father
お
with
父様
magic.
を蘇らせる魔法を使うことができます
Oh,
無理ですよ。
No, believe! Believe now!
it's impossible, madam. That's just too much.
いくらな。
解剖すれば死亡時期を特定
The
する
time of death will be. I keep forgetting my voices. The time of death will be made clear during the autopsy.
不審がられる
We can't stop it from looking suspicious.
お父様はお亡くなりにならないのですから
Father won't pass away, so there'll be no need for there to be an autopsy. Of course, she wasn't planning to make it seem like Kinzo would live forever. The fake life given to Kinzo would only last until Kraus could repay his debts. After that, Kinzo's soul would finally be able to rest in peace. Nanzo repeatedly said that at the time of death, or that the time of death would be discovered during the autopsy, but Natsuki kept saying that this wouldn't be a problem.
お父様は死亡届によってお亡くなりになるのではあり
Father
ません
father won't pass away by being reported dead.
そ
I see.
失踪届か
Will be reported missing.
After clapping his hands together, Cross stood up, shaking his fists.
そうです
Yes,
借金が無事に
once we
返済
managed
で
to
き
pay back the debt and
お父
finish our
様にお休み
preparations
いた
for
だけ
laying
る
father
準
to
備が
rest,
整ったなら
we'll then announce that
その
father
時
disappeared.
お父様の失踪を宣言します
Rokenjima's vast and cultivated forest was the perfect place to stage a disappearance. One day, Kinzo would go out to the forest for a walk and never return. They would search for him without success and then be forced to report his disappearance.
失踪なら死体がなくても死亡届を出せる
If he disappears, we can file a report of his death even without a corpse.
つまり
In other words, we can hide him long enough to have him declared legally dead.
どうだ南條先生
What do you think, Dr. Nanjo?
これなら何の問題もない
There won't be any problems that way.
確かに
Yes, that might work.
ありますが
それで良いので
Yeah,
す
but
か
is this
奥様
okay? Well, no, I guess it's their plan. This is her conviction. Is this really okay, madam?
確かに私たちが黙っていれば
If we stay silent, then I'm sure we can keep Master's death a secret. However, if we were to slip up even once and let someone find out...
熊沢声が大きいです
Don't be so loud, Kumasawa.
お父様はあちらでお休み中なの
Father is sleeping right over there, correct?
起こしてしまわれ
Are
るつ
you
もりです
trying to wake him? Wow, the power of delusion. It isn't a corpse. Kinzo is sleeping. As Natsuki said that, Kinzo lay quietly on the bed as though there was nothing at all odd about her words. So if this is the... So if this is what's, what do you call it? Going on before this game, or... Is that what goes on before every single game? That's my question. Or is it only happening before this game? Because if this does happen before every single game, then the red truth checks out. But no, then again, the red truth... No, she declared in red. Hold on, let me look. I need to look up, like, the list of red truths. Need to go to episode 4. Let's see. Kinzo. Looking for the one that says Kinzo was dead before. Okay, but no, it only says for the games. I think this implies for the games, all of them. Kinzo's already dead at the starting time for all games. But that implies it's only for the first 4 games. I don't know if this also applies here. Was she trying to fix or resurrect? Once again, a storm of gold butterflies started to swirl, covering Kinzo's cold body. Oh! Then after the butterflies exploded into fine gold powder and disappeared, just like those fairy tales that have been told over and over since long ago, Kinzo slowly opened his eyes and sat up.
Natsuhe, let me first make one thing clear. I did not coax you into doing this because of my attachment to life.
Liar. Don't tell me you didn't anticipate this at least a little. How's it feel, Kinzo? How's your body?
It isn't bad, but it feels somewhat like being in a dream. I feel light.
You're a being that wasn't permitted to remain in this world, yet you still remain here. Don't start complaining about a little discomfort now. Is your body truly alright? Is it really okay?
It actually feels quite pleasant. If this is what the world after death feels like, playing the ghost might not be half bad.
How's this, Natsuhi? Kinzo's revived. That means a funeral is unnecessary. Your hardship has been resolved. As Natsuhi tried to find words of gratitude amidst her confusion, Beatrice waggled her pointer finger and spoke. There is no need for thanks. A ruler is allowed to be proud. I will not pay heed to requests, but I will follow orders. Even so, I'll say it. Thank you. You've bought some time for my husband. We'll handle the rest. Be warned, Natsuhi. Kinzo may have revived, but that's not an eternal thing. It'll only continue as long as my magic does. Be warned that the magic-resisting toxin might destroy the magic. You must understand the laws of magic correctly and work hard to maintain it. I can show you a miracle, but it is your role to grasp it and hold it. Of course. We definitely won't neglect the miracle you've given us. Very well. It would appear masters need to be changed out every once in a while, just like floor mats. I like it. I shall serve you, Ushiromiya Natsuhi. I am the Ushiromiya family alchemist, the Golden Witch Beatrix. Call my name whenever you wish. I shall appear and grant you a miracle. Thank you. I am Ushiromiya Natsuhi. I will employ you and protect the honor of the Ushiromiya family. I assume it's either going to be more exposition, or we're going to jump to family conference of the previous year. Okay. Oh yeah, more Kinzo. Yes, more time with Kinzo! Yes! Yes, 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 yes! Life is so worth it now. Life is so worth it with Natsuhi here. As if you're like, ooh, no servant, yippee! Hooray! Lucky her, truly lucky her. Excuse me. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that she's not gonna mistreat her. But what is gonna happen is that the 6 months that Natsuhi has gotten them is gonna fall through, and then Kraus is gonna fail, and then the events of the 5th game happen. That's my guess. The Rose Garden was truly splendid this year. The roses were blooming like crazy, as if competing with each other. In that Rose Garden, Kinzo and Natsuhi, or Kinzo, Kanon, and Natsuhi could be seen.
Once again, the flowers have grown wonderfully this year. It must be the result of your care.
Thank you very much. The weather just happened to be good this year. Thanks to your care, the garden's even more beautiful than usual. Good work. Thank you.
If today weren't so special, we might have been able to admire the roses while enjoying some black tea.
Kinzo shrugged. Today was the family conference. When it came to the other siblings' business, none of the news had ever been good. On the contrary, those siblings probably planned to turn the conversation to the topic of Kinzo's remaining life and hold a quiet feud over the inheritance. Okay, so that checks out the usual stuff. Oh, okay, yeah, seeing as how we're in the 5th game so far, it is quite different because this Kinzo is participating, if I remember correctly, in all the previous, in episodes 1, 2, and 3, I should say. Not 4, though. He was always in a study. He was always in a study. And also was dead the entire time. Okay, I guess the best way to approach this is to assume it's from a completely different, completely different, what's the word I'm looking for? Perspective, I guess? Or, oh yeah, from a completely new game master. So, that makes the most sense. Okay.
Those people are quite unpleasant. By the way, what about Kraus? Is that... wait, what? Is that it? Oh no, I guess that happened... Huh. That must have been another time. Okay, I thought this was another time skip back, but this is... Okay, I see.
Is that debt repayment plan of his proceeding well?
It seems to be a realistic plan. However, it's a plan on quite a large scale, and it doesn't seem to be bearing fruit quite as well as he expected.
If possible, I would have hoped to have that resolved before today's family conference.
Yes, my apologies. Are you sure you're okay, Kinzo? Casually walking around in a place like that.
How had she gotten up there? Oh, fairly pointless to wonder about that sort of thing when you're dealing with a witch. Beatrice was casually sitting on the roof of the arbor, almost as though she'd been basking in the sun.
Those relatives are like a massive lump of the magic-resisting toxin, and they'll be intruding on us. If you bump into them, your soul will evaporate in an instant.
I am already dead. Evaporating will be no detriment.
We can't have that happen. For the sake of the Ushinomiya family, lend us your strength just a little longer. Natsuhi, it seems the boat carrying the relatives has left the harbor. Perhaps it's about time to bring an end to this walk of yours. Is that so? Thank you. Please return to the study, Father.
My. How tiresome to go back inside when the weather is this perfect.
Don't grumble, Kinzo. Right now you're nothing more than a ghost I gave life to. It'll be troublesome for both me and Natsuhi if you're scattered away by the toxin. Just be a good boy, shut yourself away in the study, and wrap a blanket around yourself or something. LOL!
Merely receiving the chance to enjoy these roses after death makes me an extremely fortunate man. I understand. I shall return to the study. But I would like some black tea. Kaden, tell Gentry to bring me some. Perhaps some Marco Polo would do well today.
Certainly. This Kinzo is also different in the fact that he's not a raging alcoholic. I'd assume he'd just be asking non-stop for drinks.
Then let us go our separate ways. Natsuhi, you must conduct the family conference splendidly in my absence.
Of course, Father. He can't say it in front of them, but my husband is already the Ushinomiya family head, and I'll do all I can to ensure I don't embarrass him as his wife.
Compared to Kraus, who's had a stomachache since this morning, you are so very composed, Natsuhi. My son is quite hopeless.
My husband is talented in his own way.
Really? I wouldn't say so.
LOL! Supporting him where he's weak is my duty as his wife.
Indeed. Carry out your task with precision. I will make sure to stay shut away, so that I don't get in the way of this farce.
Canon, go with father to the study, and then have Genji prepare some black tea.
肩を借りるほど能力しておらぬわ。
I'm not so senile that I need your help to stand up. Here I go.
Refusing Cannon's attempt to lend him a hand, Kinzo rose from the flower bed he had been sitting on. The retired had left everything in Natsue's hands and returned to the study at a gentle pace. You're looking well. You possess a sense of dignity reminiscent of Kinzo's dead wife. On the off chance that the magic-resisting toxin does reach father, will the magic dissolve in an instant? Indeed, in the blink of an eye. I can vanish whenever I please, but if someone already dead such as Kinzo loses his form, he'll be instantly tossed away like dust by the winds of the sun. You must take care. Yes, I understand. You may have talent as a witch. The magic-resisting toxin's been building up in your system over the years, and you're still able to understand magic. If you and I had met during your youth, you might have become a powerful witch by now. I am the wife of Ushinomiya Kraus, the family head. I would become even a witch or demon to protect his honor. I'm deeply grateful for the power of your magic. I wouldn't have been able to protect the honor of the Ushinomiya family without you. Let's discuss that at another time. I'd like to enjoy it with just the two of us women drinking tea. A friend of mine who went to Sri Lanka sent me some black tea with a wonderful rose fragrance. Oh, you mean Dimbula? That's not bad. Then you should also have some patis on the side. You must serve me some as a reward if I manage to trick everyone for this entire family conference. It's a promise. Understood. Okay. I promise. Then I'll see you later. Yes, later. I'm gonna find a good place to stop and then I'll call it for here. I know it's a short stream. I know I said I'd play till like 6, but I'm a little hungry, and also I wanna take a break for a little bit before I head out for my plans. The witch made her body crumble into the rustling winds, became gold flower petals, and scattered into thin air. Natsu watched her go, then turned on her heels and headed for the mansion. And then there were none left in the rose garden. Oh, here we go. Okay, break time. Get any complaints so far? None at all. If you have to pee, why not just go and do it?
Pee yourself!
What a rude thing to say. Oh, Kinzo's already dead, right? But he's walking around and talking, isn't he? Doesn't that mean this is magic? Alright, that is true. Kinzo's already dead. This is before the start of the Twilights and such. What would you say is an explanation for this Kinzo walking around and talking? Everyone recognizes him as Kinzo. Everybody believes he's Kinzo. Might it be in the same vein of everyone recognizing that person as Kinzo in the same vein as episode 4, but in the way where Battler said it's like everyone believed it was Kinzo, but Kinzo as in like the Ushinomiya head. In that case, it would mean we're seeing Kraus walk around as the head, but also they were on the screen at the same time. Ugh, this is hard. Of course, I doubt this move would work on you after all this time, Brain. So what about you, Battler?
これっておかしいでしょ？
Isn't it weird? Don't you have to accept the existence of the magic that revived Kingdom? Oh, we're gonna get an explanation right now. If you're trying to imitate Beto, it's pissing me off, so stop it right now.
やっぱわかる？
Figured it out?
ほらほら
Then come on, how are you gonna answer, Battler? Kinzo was just out for a stroll. Why not act like you always do and start holding your bed, or a bed ahead, crying, "This makes no sense."
そして全然ダメだぜ。ってお約束の口癖でお得意のとんでもでぜひ。
Hey, we love him for saying it's all useless and then saying those fucking stupid arguments. We love him for that. How dare you?
死んだはずの人間が歩き回れるわけないものね。
There's no way a human who's supposed to be dead could be walking around, right?
死んだ妄想を見せ
Is this all because of some unknown virus called the Rokenjima syndrome that causes mass delusions?
六軒島だけに住む謎の蝶の鱗粉に幻覚作用
Or
が
do the scales of a mysterious form of a butterfly that only lives in Rokenjima happen to be hallucinogenic?
I understood that reference. That's a Higurashi reference, I think. LOL!
謎の秘密組織山犬が作った集団妄想を見せる未知の薬物
Or is it all because of a mysterious secret organization called the Mountain Dogs made an as of yet undiscovered drug called Puru Puru Pico Puyo, which causes mass
素
delusions?
敵なとんでもいっぱい聞か
Let me hear tons of this wonderful crap. LOL!
うるさい、黙れ。
Just shut
こ
up.
んなのは問題にもな
This
らない。
isn't even a problem. Grandfather's dead at this point in time. There's no way he exists.
それを存在するかのように振る舞っているの
The
は
only reason he's able to act like he's alive like
なん
this
とかじい様の死を隠して
is because of Aunt Natsuhi's lie. Her attempt to make it through the family conference while hiding grandfather's death. Yeah, she could just be talking to thin air and pretending that he's alive. There's no thing saying that he's quite literally alive. They could just be, hallucinating, just like the illusion she had.
夏日の嘘
Oh, it's Natsuhi's lie?
と死者が蘇る
You can revive the dead by
それ
lying?
って夏日の魔法
Wouldn't that make it Natsuhi's magic?
この世界はブラウン管を除く前の世界
This world's like a bronze tube before you've looked into it.
開く前の猫箱の
It's the
世界
world of the cat box before you open it.
夏日おばさんがじい様と一緒に散歩した
As long as Aunt Natsu says she took a walk with grandfather, as long as no one can confirm that it's a lie,
夏日おばさんが
it's
じい様
possible
と
to
まだ
display
ゲームを散
Aunt
歩した
Natsuhi taking a walk in the rose garden with grandfather as Natsuhi's reality.
だからじい様が現れること
That
が
means
できる
it's possible for grandfather to appear. Yippee! Way to go, battler! That extremely unflattering applause, though, was coming from Burncastown.
ブラボー
Bravo.
ベアト
You're
に
much
いない
calmer
と
with that
冷静
Beto around.
うるさい
Quiet.
お前も黙れ
You shut up, too.
お待ちなさいよバトラー
Wait a second, Battler.
ご説による
According to your theory, sure, it might really be possible for Kinzo to appear as if Natsu is the only person there. If Natsu claims to have observed Kinzo in a world with no one except Natsu in it, then no one can deny it, right?
でもあの場にはカノンが居合わせて
But Canon was in the same place, and he was also looking at Kinzo, right? Well, the servants are all in on
そ
it.
れをどう説明する気なのよ
全く問題ないな
It's no problem at all.
カノン君は後ろ宮家
Ganon-kun's a servant who works for the Ushiromiya
夏日お
family.
ばさんに
And Natsu probably ordered him to keep to her story so that she could hide grandfather's
だ
death.
から
Because of that, Kana can see grandfather even though he shouldn't exist, just like Aunt Natsu can.
あいにくねラムダ
Too bad, Lambda.
もうバト
Battler isn't gonna
そ
fall
の
for
程
that
度
kind
の
of
子供た
child's
ちに
play
は引っ
anymore.
かからないのよ
そうみたいね
Hmm.
こんな
Seems
ゲ
so.
ーム前に全
Well,
然
it's nothing more than an opening before the games actually
料
started.
理の前のアペリティブ
Like an aperitif before a meal.
飲み屋の
Or aperitif? Aperitif, whatever. An appetizer at a
寿司
bar.
屋の緑
Green tea at a sushi restaurant.
うるせえ
Shut
ど
up.
うして言い直さなきゃ先に進めねえのか
We aren't gonna get anywhere unless I say it in a blue text, huh?
そうね
Looks like
一
it.
応もらえる
Would you mind?
じい様がすでに死んでいるにもかかわらず
The reason grandfather's strolling around like nothing happened even though he's already dead is that people who want to make it seem as though he's alive created an illusion of him. People who think the same way can share in that illusion. Then they'll talk as though grandfather actually exists and was with them until a second ago. That's why he's strolling around like it's perfectly natural. Because of this, the illusion of grandfather is unable to appear in front of people who aren't in on this with Aunt Natsuhi. That's why they made up the story of him shutting himself away in his study and refusing to come out. In the games before now, grandfather's always locked himself up in his study. We never met him directly. However, some people said things that made us think he was locked up in a study in a bad mood, such as claiming to have met him only a short while ago. We blindly accepted their statements and believed that grandfather was in the study. That's why it was possible for an illusion of grandfather to exist in the study. That explains episodes 1 through 3 the entire time. Okay, I see it now, I get it. In the games before now, the only people who met grandfather were Uncle Kraus, Aunt Natsuhi, and the servants. Because they all stuck to the same story, an illusion of grandfather was able to exist on this island, making it seem like he was alive. He even showed us a scene at the beginning of this game, where Aunt Natsuhi convinced Dr. Nanjo and the rest to cover up grandfather's death. I'm not gonna fall for a cheap trick like that after all this time. Not bad, but I was hoping for the unknown drug, Puru Puru Pico Puyo. There's no way he'd say something so ridiculous, right? After all, supposing that such a thing exists would be just as bad as surrendering to the fantasy genre. Whether it's a virus or drug or an illness, anything that hasn't been discovered yet is in violation of Nox's fourth commandment. What do you mean fourth commandment? Nox's fourth. It is forbidden for unknown drugs or difficult to understand scientific devices to be used. The rule states that such things can't be used during a murder. The hell? Unknown drug X and unknown scientific device X should be the best kinds of weapons to use when fighting against a witch. That's what I'm talking about. All of those violate the rules of a proper mystery. Supposing an unknown virus, an unknown drug, an unknown sickness, or an unknown whatever was used puts it totally in the fantasy genre. My condolences. If that was your theory, then it's game over for you. Lol. Hey! What are you talking about? You think you've been fighting in direct opposition to Beto, but that's not actually true. You haven't been in direct opposition. You've been fighting along with her from a slightly different angle. All this playing detective you've done hasn't been fantasy versus mystery. It's only been fantasy versus anti-fantasy. I don't have a clue what you're talking about. But there's one thing I do get. Sounds like you're saying there's something wrong with my fighting style. We're fighting to kill the fantasy known as the illusion of the witch. That means interpreting this tale as a proper mystery. In other words, from the very start, we have to ignore any and all elements that violate the taboos of the mystery genre. Ignore, you say? For example, several closed-room murders have occurred in the games before now, right? Yeah? At every single crime scene, you enthusiastically check with Beto to make sure there's no hidden doors, right? That leads to a flashy bunch of red truths weaving together all over the place. Almost as though that itself is the battle. I call that a waste of time. After all, it's clearly specified in Nox's third. It's forbidden for hidden passages to exist. In the mystery genre, hidden passages mustn't exist. So if you want to interpret everything as a proper mystery, entering this whole debate over whether there are hidden doors or not means you've lost from the beginning. See? After all, there aren't any. As soon as you suspect they might exist, it's already game over for you. Okay, I'll call it here for now, even though it's not a satisfying place to stop. But my throat is running a bit ragged. I'm out of water too, and I just want to take a break. Lol. So I will see about playing again not next year, next week if possible. But otherwise, thanks for hanging out, guys. People happy. I'll see you guys around. Next week again on Thursday. I'll be playing again next week on Thursday. More Umineko. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Bye, guys. Take care. Ow. You might see me tonight. Wait, no, you won't see me tonight. I'll see if we can do the Chikawa watch along tonight. But I do have to be in bed before 10 p.m. So we'll see. Lol. And then you will see me tomorrow for more Genshin. Tomorrow at like 5 o'clock.